All right, thanks for joining us on our first episode of Kimchi Kids. We have with us here Alexis Belton, the bar director of the Aviary, and Ed Tinoco, the executive chef of Next Restaurant.
Yes, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you guys for having us.
Awesome. So just to get started off, I think it's just a little good to start with a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from.
You should go first.
No, ladies first.
Oh, okay. That's why I said you should go first.
Oh.
Starting it out early. Hey, everybody. Alexis, where I'm from. Originally from the Bay Area in California. Spent a lot of my childhood in Arizona. My dad worked for Intel, so we bounced around a bit. Before Chicago, coming from New York City, it's actually where I met Ed. And we've been here in Chicago for almost 8 years now. So
Amazing.
we said we were going to stay for a year, and look how that went. So here we are.
Why was that just a year?
Ed's family is back in Queens in New York, and so I think it was really hard to just pick up and leave your entire family behind, especially when they have a lot of young kids, nieces and nephews. Yeah. His mom is there. So I think we were like, let's just go check out Chicago. Let's see what it's all about. But like, eventually want to end up back home with your family.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
It was also a very dramatic decision to move here. Basically, we didn't have any friends or even an apartment here.
Oh,
So
wow.
we kind of just put ourselves in a timeline. We're like, okay, we're going to learn as much as we can in a year, essentially go back, because that was sort of a comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
But we realized that we were out of our comfort zones the whole time here,
Oh, wow.
which it ended up being our lifestyle now.
So when did you guys do the move to Chicago? Just so we have a timeline here.
Winter of 2013. I think it was they said on record, probably one of the coldest winters that Chicago had since the last really dramatic one where Lakeshore Drive froze over.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if I'm supposed to call it Lakeshore Drive anymore. I know it just got
What
renamed.
is it now? Jean-Paul Piaget.
I need
Baptiste, something.
I need to look it up. It's
Yeah.
a historical name that I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, I think it's going to take a lot of us to try and actually
Why did
Yeah.
they change
get
the name?
acclimated to that.
Does anyone know?
I think it was the historical connection to Chicago. So I believe he was somebody that helped found a lot of, and I might be wrong about this, things around here. I believe he had a hand in even possibly naming the city. I probably shouldn't keep talking about it because I'm going to say something completely wrong. So
Most of the show is
his,
going to be us not knowing what we're talking about. So
we'll leave it at famous historical figure.
So really quick, jumping back. So you were born in the Bay,
Yes.
which is so I worked out in San Francisco a little bit. It's very, they call it a unicorn out there if you're actually born and raised and live in the Bay because it's so unusual. Most of the city is built of transients.
Mm-hmm.
So
My mom actually moved to the Bay Area from South Korea when she was about 21. So, she was an immigrant, and then her sisters and brothers came after her, as well as her mother. My dad is born in Yonkers and from New York, so he spent his life on the East Coast and eventually
wow.
ended up there after
Yonkers.
school for jobs. Yeah, Yonkers, exactly.
Yonkers is a city. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was a term. I was like, not picking up the East Coast thing.
No, it's up outside of north of the city a little bit.
Very cool.
Yeah, a little bit of a rough neighborhood, but yeah.
When did you move out of the Bay Area?
When I was towards the end of grade school,
Okay.
so I spent, middle school, high school, college in Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Arizona. Didn't you spend some time out there?
Arizona, no. It's the only one I didn't go to. I didn't go to Scottsdale.
Not that exciting.
Yeah.
It's nice for a vacation, though.
Sorry. So you two met in New York. Were you guys working in a restaurant together, or?
We worked in a restaurant together named Perilla.
No way.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you?
They-
What? That's
Not even
wild.
joking.
It was owned by Harold Diddley, who was the original Top Chef. The
I
restaurant.
remember him.
Harold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
season 1.
Yeah, so we worked
The
there.
pencil.
Exactly. Yeah, we worked together. I was the sous chef at the time when we met. She had just started the job there as a floor manager and sort of slowly drifted into being behind the bar.
Oh, okay.
Very natural of her. I was 21, turning 22 when I first met her. We were both, kind of leaders in the restaurant, both coming out of very long-term relationships. And honestly, I have never been single in my life until I met her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You were
Start.
not single when you met me, though.
I was
Okay?
kind of single.
On the verge of being single.
On the verge.
Yeah.
Right. That works.
But we worked for a very long time. Before we actually talked or even hanged out.
You guys were just like eyeing each other.
Yeah, I mean, I was really just focused on my career.
Yeah.
I was like a young kid from Queens trying to make his mom proud and just working really hard. Being from Queens, working in the city is like a big step.
Yeah.
You know, like it is still the big city, but
Yeah.
if you're from Queens and you're from the small neighborhood, you're going into the city with the big dogs and
Yeah.
kind of intimidating a lot of them. You know, like you said, it's rare when people are from New York and like
Yeah.
born and raised.
Yeah.
I wasn't born, but I was raised there, and you know that's all I knew. So meeting people from outside the city, you know, with her moving from Arizona, it was more like just need to focus and make sure that I make everyone behind me proud and just really just focus on what I wanted to do. But
Yeah.
I was obviously very young as a sous chef at a restaurant, and
That's crazy. 21.
21.
When did you
sous
start
chef.
cooking?
I started cooking since I was 14, but professionally I started working at a restaurant when I was 17, turning 18.
Okay.
It's called Vesta Trattoria in Queens.
So how did Perilla happen?
So while I worked at Vesta, we just had people come in and go. I was like sort of like the baby of the restaurant.
Yeah.
I started there as a dishwasher. I worked for 6 months dishwashing, and my interest was always to work in the kitchen. And didn't have a space, so I just kind of went in front of the house, busboy a couple times for a couple months. Did the serving thing, making a lot of money because
Yeah.
back then it was just tips.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was an opening finally after maybe 7 months in the kitchen, and I was like, I need to take it. They're like, okay, we're gonna pay you $300 a week.
Yeah.
You're gonna be working 6 days a week,
Right.
and about 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
But we're gonna teach you. At the moment, I was, you know, considering going to culinary school.
Okay.
But I got super lucky, and chef was like, you know, if you stay here, I'll teach you. You don't have to go.
That's awesome.
So that saved me a lot of money. So I ended up not going and just staying there. I worked every station, and just pretty much by the time I left, it had been 3 years.
Okay.
But I was a sous chef, essentially like the highest before the executive chef, and was putting food on the menu. And
Wow.
I felt like I've reached the peak.
Yeah.
It wasn't at all modern or anything like that. It
Right.
was, but it was very flavorful.
This is before he won the show, or this was his restaurant going into?
No, this was another restaurant
This
in
was
Queens.
Vesta?
Oh,
Vesta,
okay,
yeah.
okay, got it.
And then one of the guys that worked there was like, "Hey, you need to get out of here. Like, you
Yeah.
know how to do this. You're very young, very
Yeah.
talented. You need to get yourself in the city."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I can set up a stage for you at a restaurant my friend works in."
Yeah.
His friend's name was Corey. He was a sous chef at the time at that restaurant, Perilla.
Yeah.
And, you know, the restaurant Vesta didn't have a grill.
Okay.
But the position I was staging at Perilla was grill. And I went
so
in there, I was
crazy.
like, oh, yeah, I've done this before. You know, they're cooking
Fake it till you make
protein
it.
on the grill.
Yeah.
Like fish, hanger steak, and all this stuff. And I was like, well, I know how to cook the protein. All I have to do is apply different heat to it.
Right.
And just make sure it doesn't get burnt because bitterness, carbon, all that stuff. So it just kind of was, it just had to make sense.
Yeah.
Got it.
I staged maybe 2 days, and then I got the job. And after that, just kind of stay there.
How long were you there for?
Another 3 years.
Damn.
Yeah, I
Wow.
worked every station. By the time I left, I was a sous chef there.
Wow.
Well, in case there are any listeners that might not know what a stage is, maybe one of you guys want to share a little insight as far as like, so when you were 14 or when you were coming in, I mean, you heard this stage shift. Like, what was the first thing that ran through your minds, and Andy too? Like when.
Man, my first stages were at like L2O, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
Spiaggia, that's still around.
Nice.
Charlie Trotters. Boca, when Giuseppe was still there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was, my understanding of it was to just do as much of the dirty work, and then thank you very much. Hopefully, we'll give you a call soon.
Right.
Yeah, it was just like taking advantage of the free labor that I offered.
And did it come off as a surprise to you guys, both of you, when you had your first like stage? I'm sure there were some questions on it. I mean, was it just like a no thought, this is what it's gonna take, or did that understanding of like I'm going in there and working for free, was that something that you had a little difficulty kind of wrapping your head around?
Personally, I didn't take too many stages. Every stage that I took was to take a job, and I knew that my mind was set.
Yeah.
The stage at Perilla was, it was very educational. It wasn't like doing the dirty work because I was going straight into a station.
Yeah.
There are different scenarios where you're going there to be a commis or a prep cook downstairs, but I was staging to be on the line. And I had a friend's reference, so obviously they're going to treat you a little bit different as well.
Yeah.
When I staged in Next, it was for free.
Yeah.
Because back then there was not a lot of labor laws and all this stuff, and it was what you're describing. It was hard. It was tough.
Yeah.
But again, I was staging for chef de partie stage, which is like the line cook, and it was very competitive. It was more like, you know, what they talked about. You have to go in there and fight it.
Yeah.
You have to really, really go and fight it. It was like you're competing with everyone in there, and everyone there. It's like a professional athlete that won your job.
Right.
I didn't encounter that until I was, 23 coming into Chicago. But I already, I hate to say it, but being from Queens, it just, makes you want to fight for everything.
Right.
Like kind of hustle.
Yeah, I definitely think like there's this East Coast and like you find it in the Midwest. At least my experience, like going out to the West Coast and working in the Bay for a little bit, there is a grind and a hustle that comes from the East Coast and Midwest mentality here. I remember working like my first week out in San Francisco, and they were like, "Dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you working so hard?" It was like they didn't understand it. It was, over there they're taking their smoke breaks and stuff in the middle of shift because it's by law they have to. And for me, it was just a really eye-opening experience. Just seeing that like what we consider just regular hard work is completely different somewhere else. So
In Queens, did you spend a lot of time in Flushing?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing soccer, actually. I wanted to be a professional soccer player.
Oh, really?
So literally before you enter Flushing, there's the Shea Stadium back then, the Met Stadium. So all the soccer fields right before on the 7 train is a one stop away from Flushing. Oh, wow. And we used to go play soccer and go eat at Flushing. Essentially, to us, it would be Chinatown.
Okay.
The other Chinatown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we grew up there. I grew up with a lot of international food. I actually went to an international high school where there was no Americans in my high school. It was all immigrants from all over the world.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I grew up with Polish, Colombians.
Was it a public school or a private?
Yeah, it was a public school.
Oh, but the population was just very diverse.
Yeah, and I went to international high school inside of a community college. So people already going to college in the same building with us. And like it was super diverse, super different. I honestly didn't even grow up with Mexican friends.
Oh, okay.
It was like from all over the world.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's interesting.
And Alexis, like your upbringing on food, what was being put on the dinner table?
So this is actually kind of funny. I mentioned earlier my mom moved to the States from South Korea when she was about 21 and got like really hooked on bad American junk food like you get here, and there are things like Big Macs and Twinkies, and
That's how we grew up.
my mom grew up super poor. Her father died when she was 16 of stomach cancer, so her mother was working multiple jobs to bring up 6, 7 children.
Right.
And so the staple foods are the things that you imagine maybe what somebody that was poor would eat. It was rice and fish all the time. So when she came here, she was like, whoa, hot dogs and Big Macs. And like, I actually saw a photo of my mom from when she was younger, because she's a very like small, slim woman. And I was like, Mom, you look kind of like chubby in this photo. And she's like, yeah, it's the Twinkies. She was at Disneyland.
Oh my God.
And she's like, it was a lot of Twinkies. Like she definitely, like her cheeks were a little bit bigger and she was like curvier. And she's like, I ate a lot of bad food when I came here. And so when she met my dad, obviously he's American. I think there was a good mix of Korean and American food, because while my dad likes Korean food, he doesn't want to eat it every night.
Yeah.
And my mom's the kind of person that will eat it every single day. And I'm
meal.
actually very much like my mom, where I can eat it for every meal. And so it would be like 3 or 4 nights a week would be like very traditional Korean meals. And then, there'd be like a hot dog night thrown in there, or she'd make like rice-a-roni or something like that, like hamburger helper, like these kind of, you think of all American dishes. So I kind of grew up eating like that. And, the cool part is, in terms of like food and how they view food, it's very like communal. Like when you sit down to eat, it's like the family comes together, you put your phones away, TV's off.
Right.
It's meant to be like the time for the family to sit together. So when we had dinner, it was very much like, my mom was pretty strict about, hey, like, my dad always wanted, like, the news on, and she's like, turn the TV off. Like, everybody sit down, put your phones away. Like, you're going to spend an hour and a half with your family tonight. Yeah, I actually really appreciate that now that I'm older. But when I was younger, I was like, seriously? Like, I just want to go, like, can I go eat in front of the TV? She's like, absolutely not.
Yeah. I would say it was pretty much the same in my household, except when the Bulls were playing. Like, and I know we always talk about this. In the '90s, my dad would have me and my brother lug this giant fucking TV, like heavy as hell, and it would just be sitting in our kitchen hallway so we could watch Michael Jordan in the playoffs. But other than that, 100%. I think me and Andy both kind of come from that, so we understand
For sure.
I think we'd love to hear just quickly on what you're doing right now. You know, what's your position? Where do you work? And maybe a little bit like how long you've been there and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, we moved here in 2013. Specifically, I remember being in the train and sending my resumes. The first time I ever made a resume to Next on our way here, and they're like, "Okay, be here tomorrow morning." So we landed. She went to an Airbnb, went directly to Next, stashed there for 2 days, and got the job. This was almost 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Started there as a chef de partie, or a cook, line cook. Just worked my ass off. Got promoted after 9 months of being a cook to sous chef. Did that for a year, and then I got promoted to chef de cuisine. Wow. So it was pretty quick. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this for quite some time, and it's basically what I love. Now I'm the executive chef. I've been the executive chef for almost 3 years. And you know, my role there is just everyday operations.
Yeah.
I like to be really hands-on. So I'm not, no offense to anyone, but I'm not the chef that like backs up and just like writes on a clipboard, makes a schedule. I'm pretty much hands-on every day. Yeah. I mean, that's sort of the motto of the Linear Group is chefs are involved in everything. Prep, butchering, making sure cooks are ready to go. Yeah. Service is very important. We view service as like, you know, a performance. So every day it's going to be the same when it comes to the intensity and what we do. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've been the executive chef. I get to actually work on menus with chef. It's more like you come up with the menu and your idea and your vision. You talk to him about the details, and then you essentially present it to him. You let him have the food and taste the meal, and then he'll make changes. Mm-hmm. More often he makes a little bit of change, but not much, which is always good. Yeah. That's what you want to see. But change is part of Next. Even if he's happy with the meal after we serve it for a couple of weeks, we still would change it even after a month. Oh, wow. Just to make sure that it, you know, if we think it's too much food, not enough food, if something doesn't, you know, go well with the other courses, we'll switch it around. Yeah. But it's definitely like my forte, I would say, change. Yeah. Just because I'm a person that gets bored really easily. That's why, you know, I worked in kitchens just for 3 years. I feel like I couldn't do it more than that, but I've been doing Next for 8 years now. Yeah. Just because you never really get used to it. Yeah. I imagine that's part of the attraction for why you went to that restaurant, kind of that El Bulli setup where things are constantly changing. I mean, was that one of the major factors that attracted you to? Yeah. They did an event in New York City with Empellon Next, and the chef from Aviary, Brochu, they did an event, and I remember talking to her and was like, hey, like, I should be doing this. Yeah. Like, I should be putting myself in this scenario. Like, look how beautiful. You remember that
night you were like, we used to go to this bar all together. It was right around the corner called the Four-Faced Liar from where we worked, and the guys used to like drink their beers, and then they'd go hang out outside, like on whatever the bar stoop was, smoking cigarettes, talking about what they were going to be doing with their lives. And Ed was like, oh, I'm going to work for Grand Acats. And I remember one of the cooks specifically was like, dude, yeah, you're dreaming. No way. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, shut the fuck up. I remember a few years ago, I was like, hey, remember that guy? If he could only see you now, maybe he is stalking your Instagram. And he's like, oh, shit, he actually did that. Yeah, that's awesome. I think it was like 20. I was 21 years old because we were just starting going to the bar. So we were going to the bars every night. Yeah. It's like, I've never done this. And responsibly, yeah. I honestly didn't drink until I was 21. Okay. Like, I grew up in a very
Christian.
Not really. My mom was a cop, so. Oh shit! But not restricted in that way. More like I wanted to make sure that I didn't disappoint her. I'm the oldest, so I was sort of like the leader and all that stuff. But I remember having the conversation with 4 cooks that were all super strong in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I was like, I'm gonna be executive chef by 24.
That's awesome.
Why Grand Rapids?
Honestly, I had an experience at Danielle, which changed my life. I was like, I really want to do fine dining.
Yeah.
But just watching these videos on YouTube of this guy just, making weird shit, and I was like, I just need to step out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to cook. I know how to do the classic stuff. It's like, if I continue to do this, I'm just going to become another New Yorker chef. It's like, I really want to do something different. And that kind of stuck in my mind when these guys were laughing at me saying, like, no, there's no fucking way. You're going to stay in Queens. Like,
that's awesome. Fuck
so
those guys.
We went out drinking, and honestly, we were out, me and her, and we're like, let's just leave.
That's awesome.
And we pull up our phones. We bought a train ticket. We booked the train the next morning at 9 a.m.
Oh, it was
That's
literally.
that's awesome.
Made a decision for the next day.
Yeah, and I have really bad anxiety, and
crazy.
he's a really bad planner and packer, and so he was running late because he couldn't pack fast enough, and so I was like hyperventilating in the cab on the way to the train station, like we're gonna miss our train.
Yeah.
I was very hurried.
You know what, though?
Took a train to Chicago?
Yeah, we took the Amtrak.
We had no choice. We were broke as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Union
beautiful.
Station.
I love that.
We had like
I was trying to make it more magical, like we took the Amtrak. We're like, no, we were
That's
broke.
awesome.
no, we couldn't even afford an airplane
Yeah.
ticket.
You know what, though? That's like such a great lesson to a lot of the, younger people out there. And me and Andy stress this all the time when we get to meet, young people coming into the restaurant, and, we get to strike conversation with them. And I just think like courage to do that, it seems crazy to some people, but sometimes that's the only way in life you get to places, right? Is by taking that leap of faith and really pushing yourself, right? And getting in uncomfortable positions. But that's amazing that you guys did that.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Yeah, and then we got here. We were living on an Airbnb for 2 weeks. She tried to get a job. She couldn't. Probably after a month, we were like, okay, you really need to get a job.
It's not that I didn't want to.
Right,
it's
right.
The Chicago beverage scene was the Chicago beverage scene was very tight knit when I moved here, so it was a lot of oops, did I just unplug myself on accident?
no, you're good. I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear myself. I guess that's better that way. It's all good. Maybe. Anyways, I'll just keep going. So yeah, when we first moved here, it was a very tight knit group. A lot of like really old school, pretty intense bartenders that really knew what they were doing. It's like the Charles Jolies of of the world, and so it was really hard to get a job here doing what I wanted to do, which is bartending. So instead, I kind of kept searching, and then he was like, "Hey, you should apply at Aviary," and I was like, I do not want to work there. I was like, that's not traditional bartending. I was really stubborn about it. And he was like, just take a stage and check it out. So I did. And I was like, it's a job. He's right. I should probably go ahead and take this. And so did that. I started out as a runner. You pat yourself on the back. Yeah, go for it. Started out actually as like a food runner, drink runner there.
Yeah.
And then I kind of saw the expo position and I was like, I want to do that. And so I ended up asking and then eventually being integrated into the expo job, which was a front of house job at the time. It is now a back of house job because I started bartending and I basically asked to bring it to the back of house team. So now that position is run by either bartenders or bar managers. For us, it made a lot more sense. It's the people that are handling things every day. And Ed will attest to this. Expo is probably in fine dining restaurants or high-end restaurants, one of the hardest positions in the front of house itself, but quite possibly in the back of house as well, aside from, the guys that are on the line cooking every day. It's really like high intensity. You have to be kind of keeping track of everything that's going on. And so it was a really stressful, really demanding position. And I quit 3 times my first year. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Before we go on, just maybe explain, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't know what Expo exactly does, right?
What does it mean?
It's short for expediter, so it sounds like exactly what it is. You're basically expediting items in and out of the kitchen. For the restaurant, like where Ed works, and maybe he wants to speak more on this, it's a much more, it's a lengthier process than what we have at Aviary. But you're handling all the tickets that come into the restaurant, all the dietary restrictions. And for a typical kitchen, you're handling all the food that would go out of the restaurant. For us at the Aviary, we were handling food and beverage. And it was not just a la carte, but it was a la carte, prefix menus, and tasting menus.
Wow.
So there's a lot happening all at once, but this person's job is to just basically make sure that service runs well and that there are no log jams in the middle of anything, that people don't get the wrong food items, that somebody who has an allergy doesn't get something that could possibly kill them. So you're just basically making sure things get to tables in a timely manner.
Right.
But you're also collaborating with the kitchen to make sure the chefs in the kitchen know what they have coming up, what they have on fire, what you might need to sell something. So you're also working with the chefs to make sure that the food is coming out as it should.
Are a lot of your drinks coordinated to go out at the same time as the food as well?
For the most part, yes. If you're on like a tasting menu, we used to kind of do it more like wine pairings where the drinks would walk out first and then the food would follow shortly after. But at the end of the day, we are a bar, and so we just started syncing them up together. So yeah, you basically have to make sure that drinks and food are walking at the same time.
So I wanted to jump back, Alexis, a little bit of the before New York. So how did you find yourself in front of house? How did you find yourself in restaurants? Like, what was that path like?
It was completely by accident, actually. So I was in school for biochemistry, and I had jumped around majors a lot, like a lot. I was a journalism major, I was a chemistry major, I was a biochem major, and eventually I was like, I think I want to get my PhD. I want to kind of do like what my dad did. And so I started to really dive into school, and part of the way through my program, I was just like, I need a break. I had, to put it lightly, a pretty bad ex, and my life, I think, was just revolving around trying to take care of other people instead of myself. Yeah. And so I was like, I need to disconnect from this. So I packed up and moved to New York literally like overnight. Yeah. My best friend had just moved out there. And so I just kind of packed up my entire life and shifted and moved out that way. But before all that happened, I was working in like dive bars, family restaurants. My parents used to love to go to this pizza spot, and I worked there for a bit. And so when I moved to New York, the natural progression was to get a job in a restaurant to make money, and just kind of hang out for a while and then get back into school. And I met Ed, and I literally was like, I'm not going back to school ever. So New York's an interesting city, though, because people talk about going there and like eating and drinking a lot, and you literally eat and drink your way through an entire city. And I think because I had met him, I had a much deeper appreciation for food, flavors, and then essentially how you can be creative in making drinks. Because for me, drinks were always just pour a beer, pour a shot, make a margarita, throw it down in front of somebody, collect some money. And I worked in bars, where you had 4 people deep. You just were cranking out drinks. You weren't really thinking too much about it. And so that job at Perillo was kind of my first foray into like, people make a living doing this, and it's very creative and it's very fun, and it can make you passionate. And so I guess that's kind of like how all that happened. It was on accident, just taking jobs to make money, and it turned into something much more.
Cool.
I also feel because I was so focused on my career that it was kind of like contagious to her. Yeah. When I met her, she didn't really know what she wanted to do.
Yeah. Right.
And not to take any credit from obviously what she's done.
Or all the credit.
Yeah. But like being a young kid, being 22 years old, and just really focused on the restaurant industry and being a sponge of learning, I think it kind of she was into it, and she was like, okay, like the more we hanged out together, the more we were in a relationship, the more she actually like focused on her craft, which, the whole time I'm like, you're really good at this.
Right. Right. But I mean, ambition is like super contagious, right?
It's like the average of 5, right?
Right.
Like, you hang out with 5 smart people, you'll be the 6th, right?
Yeah.
So you surround yourself with greatness, right?
Or just the guy that gets really good grades because of the group projects. One of the
Right.
That's me.
How do you two you guys compliment? How do you guys compliment each other in your lives? I mean,
So the funny thing about that is, that's funny that you asked. We both just celebrated birthdays back in May and June, and we're both Geminis. So we're both incredibly stubborn. We can both be hotheads, and we both talk too much. So I think it's hilarious when people are like, "You guys get along great. You guys are like yin and yang," and I'm like, "Ooh, like there are some times where like we just really butt heads, and neither of us backs down." And then there are times where like, it's incredible that like I'll be really upset about something and he'll be like a really calm person and he's like, no, just like let it go, like relax, it's okay, like just be calm, like it'll be cool. And then that'll flip 180 where he'll get really just pissed off about something and I'm like, no, it's okay, just like we're cool, it's calm, we're good.
Yeah.
And it flips so dramatically because I always feel like I should be the angry person, like talking to somebody on customer service on the phone, I'm always the one that's like really angry because I just think that I got like shafted and I'm like the only person that's dealing with that in that moment. And he's like, no, it's okay.
This
like,
is once a month, by the way.
Be calm.
And there's always
I
tears
cannot
involved of
believe-
It's
anger.
actually a hobby. I just call in to argue with customer service people because it's a hobby at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure just both of you guys working in this industry, this is a pressure cooked, type of job, and me and Andy both know that it's not always easy to just like decompress, and it's not like we're walking out of an office like finishing assignment and then the sun is shining and we get to go out and eat dinner with friends. This is a tough industry where we carry a lot of our work back home with us, and sometimes we have really great days, and I love those. I leave here feeling very fulfilled, proud. Everything's going great. And then there's days that it can be challenging. And so with both of you working in this and both of you coming back home, I'm sure there are some challenges as trying to decompress from a stressful night. So it's great to see that you guys kind of are the balance to each other in the relationship. So
I mean, it's to be honest with you, it's just really hard to bend over for the other person sometimes because we're both so intense in what we do.
Yeah.
We're both leaders. We're both almost in the same position. So going home, it's not like, okay, she had a rough day, I'm going to do this for her, or she feels the same way for me. It's like we're very competitive people. And to be honest with you, since we started this job, it's been like, it's a competition at the end of the day. Like we both want to be great at what we do.
Right.
And we don't want a relationship where like, he's the strong one, she's gonna, or
Wait,
she's
you've
the
been
strong
competing
one.
with me this entire time?
I mean, obviously I'm winning, but no, but it's hard to compliment each other that way. But I think more than complimented, we support each other.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, like if she does have a rough time and we see that I see if it's rough, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna give her some advice and trying to be there for her.
Yeah.
But she's the type of person that she just wants you to be there and stay silent.
Right.
Like shut the fuck up and listen.
Right. Read the room, right? I mean, that's a front of house thing. It's also a Korean thing. We call it nunchi in Korean. It's kind of like having how would you describe nunchi? It's like
oh man, it's wherewithal.
Yeah, wherewithal.
Yeah.
Like kind of reading the room, reading the situation, and
combined with like empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a powerful thing. Yeah. Like a lot of Koreans will say like, oh, that guy's got no nunchi, he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. It's very somber, and then someone comes in, he's like, who wants tacos? And you're like, dude.
We all know a few of those people, though.
Do you guys cook a lot at home? Do you guys cook for each other at all? Okay, so how about the better question, Alexis? Do you dabble in cooking? Coming from more of that front of house, bar.
So I've joked about this before, that I always just tell him I'm like a terrible cook, and I'm like, maybe it's in the hopes that he's just going to make me food, and then he'll be like, I don't know how to do anything, I can make you quesadillas. I think in our own ways, we're both like great home cooks. I learned how to cook from my mom, and I don't know everything yet, but and I'm sure that you know about this, there's no recipes passed down from Korean grandmother to mother to son or daughter. You have to learn by doing. And I've actually read interviews with other Korean chefs where they're I would ask hey, what's the recipe? And the ajumma working, she'd be like, recipe? No, you just you taste it, and it tastes right, and it's right. And, you add a pinch of this and some of that, and you cut up one of those. And so watching my mom cook, I can get in the kitchen and make some Korean dishes. I can replicate some stuff that she does. I would say Ed is definitely the better cook out of the two of us, especially at home. He's got more, wherewithal about how to, properly do things, the techniques and stuff like that. So I can do a rough job of something, but he knows how to actually make things more composed, make sense. I used to bake a lot though, so I used to do a lot of baking, and I was I was good at it, but I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we're just very simple at home.
Okay.
Just, if we need to cook, we'll cook. But most of the time is, if I cook, that means that I'm going to create dishes, which is going to create work for her and her day
Right.
off. It's just like, I'm not like that chef that goes home and like does a home cooking, all that stuff.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty simple.
Well,
when it
what's
comes to
simple
that.
to you might not be so simple to other people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking.
I mean, I'd rather have perilla than actually cook.
No, I understand exactly what you mean. It's like after cooking all day long, like you go home, you're not trying to,
right.
because for me, it's like I got to do the dishes afterwards. I have to clean all, I got to consolidate all this shit afterwards. Like,
Right.
Like Tom actually takes the time.
I do.
He
I love
recently
cooking. It's like
cooked this amazing meal out of the prune cookbook.
yeah. I just got I got my hands. Our sous chef here, Brian. He gave me the prune book, and
That's awesome.
I'm obsessed with Gabrielle Hamilton.
yeah.
Like the food is. I did my first recipe last week.
Yeah.
I was extremely proud of it. I know hard on myself too. I was like, I could have done this a little better. Oven temperature was probably off by a few degrees here and there, but
Yeah.
But I love it, and I imagine for you guys though, being in the kitchen all day, it's you want something simple, quick, and easy and delicious, right?
Yeah.
Is there a go-to recipe, both of you guys, that you guys like? What's your? I got like 10 minutes to make myself something good. I'm fucking tired. What are you cooking?
I hate to say this, but I've never actually cooked a recipe out of a book.
Yeah.
Like looked at it and
Right.
did it for myself. For me, cookbooks are more like I want to see ratios. I want to see combinations. I want to see like what do I need to get to that flavor before
okay.
I even make the dish. Like what out of that big picture, what is the thing that's making this delicious?
Oh,
Is it
okay.
acid? Is it this? Is
Yeah.
it that?
Oh.
But what I honestly, I cook Mexican food at home. Like if I have to, and it's because for me it's so quick.
Yeah.
Like it's the least amount of dishes. I can cook everything in one pan.
Yeah.
And I know she will love it because it's simple. If honestly, it's like if I have tortillas, cheese, and eggs, that's all I need, and a little bit of sour cream. I
Awesome.
cooked that last night for her. She was like, "I'm hungry." Literally in 3 minutes, it was ready. I don't have to clean that many dishes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think Mexican food, even though like I'm not good at it,
Yeah.
but simple
I'm
like
sure
that.
you're just fine.
Yeah, I'm sure you're
He
doing.
says that because his mom is like an amazing cook.
You're always gonna
Yeah.
compare it to your mom
sure.
or your parents.
Right.
You
My
know,
mom
it's
hates
like-
everything I do.
Yeah, I think that's a big common denominator with most of us in this industry. I can't imagine. I mean, I know I've heard the stories of people that have gotten into the industry, in the restaurant industry, that have come from a bad family of cooks. But I feel like the most common denominator is that you always had like a great cook in your life growing up. Otherwise, you wouldn't appreciate like these certain things, And like we've all got that dish that like you take one bite of that dish and you're like, this is fucking home. Like this
Yeah.
just put me back in my family table when I was a little kid.
Well, speaking of Mexican food, any favorites in Chicago?
Yes. What do you like?
We really like, it's Mariscos El Barco.
Oh, it's off
Really-
of Western?
Oh, yeah.
Ashland,
Ashland.
and like
Division,
Blackhawk
Black
Division.
Hawk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the art to go to for a very long time. Honestly, Mexican food overall, I like La Josie. It's right on
yeah.
Randolph.
Oh, okay.
The guy there, they make their own tortillas. The mom used to be the chef there of the guy that owns it. His name is Pepe. But every time we go there, it just gets better.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I've actually been there once.
Is it fairly new?
It's
I
right
know where
across
it
from
is.
Oh,
I
okay.
just
Couple
don't.
years now.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, and no offense to Pepe, but when we first went there, it was okay.
Yeah.
But the last time we went, I was like, holy fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I had a
Wow. We
fish
gotta go
taco
back.
that blew my mind, and I'm really picky with tacos.
Oh
Really?
man.
But I literally had to take a second and be like, why is this so fucking good?
Is it like modern tacos or is it classic Mexican tacos?
It's classic,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say. I mean, they make the tortillas in their basement,
Oh wow.
so everything is fresh.
Yeah.
Very classic combinations. They don't put toppings that don't belong there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do a couple tacos with cilantro and onion. But the other dishes like the empanada, like the quesadillas and their wok, they're just really, really good.
Really?
Well seasoned. I always look for seasoning.
Yeah.
Like as long as it's seasoned, it's gonna do its own thing.
Well, for those of you that aren't familiar, this is La Josie on the corner of Randolph and Halstead, right across the street from Auchevel. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
yeah. And Alexis, one of your go-tos if you're hungry, cooking for yourself, and then where's like a spot you really love to enjoy food?
Shit. Now I'm like, where do I go to eat? Well, if it's not here, to be honest, I think once we discovered you guys here, we were like, we need to go. We ordered takeout a lot during the pandemic,
Yes.
but
Thank you, by the way.
yes, if you're not coming to Perilla, this is not a plug. Crap, where did we go a lot? I feel like I go to El Barco a lot.
I feel that she is like a very random eater.
Okay.
Like, depending on her mood,
Right.
is what she's gonna have. She's not a very consistent eater. Like she'll have like what's the sandwich shop? Nonos.
Nona's? Yeah, I
and
like
then
to go there sometimes.
Fermentos?
Yeah, like the little side shop.
She loves bagels with cream cheese. So anywhere she can find a good bagel, she'll have that.
Have you guys found anything in Chicago worthy of New York bagel or?
No. That's a big hard
It's just
no.
different.
Yeah, it is. It's
all,
very
it's,
different.
It's all about the bagel. I
Right.
think it's the texture. The New York texture is chewy. It's
Yeah.
fluffy. A lot of people that they do bagels here, they're usually like handmade, and there's more artisanal like art to it.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't taste the same like a New York bagel. And like there's nothing wrong. Like New York bagels taste cheap, but there's something comforting about them.
Fuck, we're going to New York in about 2 weeks. So I am definitely gonna get my hands on a bagel over there.
Yeah, like you can walk, and if there's a stand, just
bodega.
get a.
Just
get a-
anywhere, huh?
Yeah.
There isn't like the place to get the bagel
No.
over there.
So a lot of people will say there's a bunch of like places, like you could probably like Google. I think one of them is called Essa Bagel, and I think it's on somewhere right after downtown. But like a lot of people have like their go-to spots, but honestly, like where I lived, you could go to the bodega around the corner, and I would always grab a bagel.
Wow.
The bodega around the corner from where we worked, like right after you got off the subway, we would always go there for bagels. It's just like it almost felt like it didn't matter unless you had like your shop that you like to go to.
Yeah.
And there were a couple great shops, but like
Yeah, just
they
get a
were always super
blueberry
consistent.
bagel with cream cheese.
I was about to ask. So blueberry bagel
Blueberry.
with plain cream cheese.
Yeah.
And then what's your bagel?
I like to do everything bagel, but
There
I
you
like
go.
to do like a veggie or chive cream cheese,
Yeah.
and I usually ask for extra.
That might be might be the best combination right
Have you
there
guys
for
been
everybody
to
listening.
Sawdell's in New York?
That's the major food group, right? Like
think so, yeah.
they're like Jewish deli.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
We have not been there. I think it opened after we had moved away, and we just never got around to it. But we've been to like Zizi's Clam Bar and Parm and stuff like that. But
But that spot looks pretty
Yeah, it
rad.
looks really beautiful.
It's amazing. It's delicious. They have a really, really good egg sandwich. New York has some crazy good egg sandwiches.
Yeah.
Or breakfast sandwiches, right?
yes, oh yeah,
It's like challah bread, egg, cheese,
yeah.
mayo. So good.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
When you're there, just go to the deli and get chopped cheese. And,
Chopped cheese?
Yeah,
What
chopped
is
cheese
that? What
sandwich.
is that?
It's basically like ground up beef with cheese, and they make a sandwich with peppers and onions,
Yeah.
and put it on a roll.
Yeah.
In the
It's like-
bodegas, right?
Yeah, it's like a New York thing.
I saw a
Chopped
video
cheese.
on this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother was telling me
It's like
about it.
$3.
Sounds crazy.
You need to have it.
Chopped cheese.
Go-to drink for you when you? Well, I guess before. Where do you like to drink in Chicago?
I'm a horrible like person. I think I'm a monster because I'm gonna say this. I like to go to places that like I don't enjoy like craft cocktail bars. I really like places that are like low key and kind of you can go sit in the dark. Like I'll go to Lone Wolf before like I go anywhere
Yeah.
else. But like I think I like the atmosphere where you know you're gonna walk in, grab a drink, and people are just gonna kind of like leave you alone while
Yeah.
you enjoy your beverage. No one's gonna try to come start conversation with you, and they'll get you a drink when you're ready for a new one. I really like Clark Street Ale House, which is kind of like an industry spot, but I think it's because I've had so many friends that have worked there, and we used to go there after work all the time. Really awesome beer selection, really great whiskey selection, and it's like service is quick and fast, and they're dog friendly, so always like dogs around when you go in there, which is
Oh, wow.
awesome. But go-to drink I think is like a daiquiri, like just super simple,
Classic.
super easy
Okay.
daiquiri. Yeah.
The bar is a dog-friendly bar. Is that what
Clark
you
Street Ale House.
Clark Street, yeah.
Really?
They are a neighborhood bar,
Yeah.
like in River North, but like
Yeah.
a lot of people live over there, and so people bring their dogs in all the time, and they have a massive patio out back too. So, yeah,
It's a
good
very.
spot.
I think it's an old school. It's one of like. It's like a legendary
yeah.
spot in
It's one of the
Chicago.
4 a.m. bars.
Yeah.
They've been there forever. Yeah.
Really?
And do you enjoy a good libation every now and then?
Yeah, my two favorite bars I would say is Money Gun
Yeah, hell
and
yeah.
Stereo. I think those two, just the vibe. I wouldn't even care about the drinks. It's just a vibe. Like Saturdays at Money Gun. Before
Yeah.
they expanded, I tried to go there on last Saturday and it felt like a nightclub.
Oh,
But
wow, really?
Yeah, because they took over the next space.
Yeah, St. Louis.
And there was a line around the block.
Oh, my
I've
God.
never seen that before.
Crazy.
There was a bouncer and all this stuff. I
People
was like,
wanna go out,
I'm
man.
not going in there.
Yeah, people are just ready to party.
But
so.
Money Gun on Saturday nights is just a great vibe. Even if you have a high life and
Yeah.
just watch people dance and
Great
They play-
music
they play
over
good
there.
music,
yeah,
yeah.
It's some of the best
very
music. and
diverse,
Yeah.
like New York hip hop.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
all that East Coast shit over there is great.
Yeah, and stereo is the opposite. It's more like
Right.
tropical,
Yeah.
Spanish, like music.
You guys get up to
tequila.
Logan Square every now and then? I mean, I feel like it's a hike for you guys.
Not often.
Yeah, we barely go up there. I feel like we used to go up there way more often when we didn't have a car, funny enough. And now
Yeah.
that we do have a car, we just don't go up there.
Oh,
I
that's-
feel like it would be
Gas,
the
man.
opposite.
Gas is high.
I love Logan Square. It's kind of like one of my go-to spots in Chicago. I tell tourists being in downtown, they're like, where should we go? I'm like, go see the shoulders of Chicago. Go up to Logan Square. Check out like the different neighborhoods. Everyone's just parked over at Michigan Avenue, in Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, there's so much more culture.
yeah,
In the
no.
neighborhood.
Find yourself a jungle bird. I would say jungle birds are my to go to
What's that?
Explain what a jungle.
cocktail. You know about that better than I do.
Oh yeah, it's a classical like tiki tropical cocktail. It is pineapple, lime, Campari, and rum. So
Oh.
it's essentially like a daiquiri that's a little bit bitter.
Okay.
They're really great. I mean, they're great for winter or summer or whatever season. But the first time Ed had one was at the Aviary when we still had them. It was a layered cocktail, and he's been hooked ever since.
Yeah.
And we'll be at home, and he's like, "Can you make me a jungle bird?" I'm like, "I don't have Campari, lime, or pineapple, so the answer is
Yeah,
no."
I mean, the
but
toughest part about the cocktail is French pineapple juice, which not a lot of bars carry it.
A French pineapple juice.
Fresh.
Oh,
Fresh
fresh. I was
pineapple
like,
juice. Sorry.
That's crazy.
But I love that one. What else? I think that's it.
that's kind of like your favorite,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm a huge fan of rum. Dark
Oh,
rum,
okay.
white rum.
Really?
Yeah, some people are like,
Why?
That's weird. I don't know. I just like it. I like the sweetness of it. I also grew up in Mexico, right next to like a sugarcane plantation.
Oh, okay.
So like the whole town that I lived was basically known for their sugarcane.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid and just sucking the sugarcane while you're walking to school. And when I was introduced to rum, she actually kind of cleaned my palate a little bit because she actually gave me good rum. And just any rum cocktail I love. For
Got
sure.
it.
I'm not a huge fan of mezcal, to be
Oh,
honest with you.
interesting.
Just like for me, it's just too much.
Too smoky.
When did
Yeah.
you leave Mexico?
When I was 10.
Oh,
Yeah, so I moved to New York when I was 10 and haven't been back ever since.
Wow.
What
You've
was-
never been back to Mexico.
I've not. My mother still lives in Queens, though, and
Wow.
we have a really small family.
Got it.
Didn't really have a.
like she doesn't have many siblings.
No, and a lot of them they're not very close. So
Do you feel like that's something you want to explore down the road, like going into like Mexican cuisine and like really learning about it? And
we were actually considering moving to Mexico about a year ago.
oh, very cool.
Yeah, to the city, just because it would be a good story, especially because I was born there and being trained with obviously Grand Rapids. I was like, oh, they can really open doors for me in Mexico City. Plus, we had some friends that were interested in doing a project with us, and we kind of consider it. But just obviously with this pandemic, everything kind of fell through.
Yeah.
But it was, the dream has always been to almost going to Mexico retired too,
Oh,
like
that's
Mexico
cool.
City.
Yeah.
I want to live there, even if we're not that old. Like I want to live a couple years there, just for her to like experience it. And
I want to have a house like Frida Kahlo, in the movie with like peacocks in the front yard. And
yeah,
very-
for real.
he's like, yeah, okay.
That would be cool.
Yeah, but I would love to go to Oaxaca too. Obviously, their cuisine there is amazing. A lot of inspiration from there that I've done food here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Mexico obviously has great food and very different in every region.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I went down to San Miguel.
Oh,
I went
nice.
For a friend's wedding. They had crazy delicious food.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, no, you have to have the tacos from Mexico. It's like, what could possibly be different? But it is. They do
It's the
Yeah.
corn, man.
yeah, the
corn
taco,
is-
the actual tortillas that they make. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
just a whole different world. She's actually been in Mexico
Yeah, I went to Oaxaca two years ago on a like a bartender's distillery trip.
Oh, cool.
So they took us around everywhere, but they're known for the what's chupalines, the grasshoppers, like dried. So
Oh,
put it
okay.
on everything, and like
How was it?
like it was on everything, and I tried everything. It's not something that I would like by choice probably like ask to have like extra of. It's got a very like intense. It's like adding like salt to something. It's got like a very,
interesting.
but it's flavored. It's got a very intense flavor, and I think maybe I didn't grow up eating it. I'm not used to it, so it was kind of my first time experiencing it. So I think maybe for me it was just like too intense, and I'd go back and try it again. It wouldn't be as intense for me, but yeah, you go down there and there's like open air markets everywhere. They literally, one of my favorite meats is cecina. It's like this dried,
sun-dried beef
yeah.
that's been basically salted.
Like
That's
jerky.
Yeah.
But it's sirloin cap, right?
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
hard to
exactly.
like find like here like good quality stuff. We've because his mom makes it all the time when we go to New York, and I like love it.
okay.
And we were down, it was everywhere down there, and I was like, I'm in heaven. Like they put it on everything. Like everywhere I turned there was cecina, and I was like, dude, this is
Interesting.
great.
It's so weird because it's literally oxidized meat.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
blue when you're eating it.
Oh, wow.
And it's like gnarly. even though it's cured and sun dried, you still
Like
gotta
this
cook
grayish
it
color.
and
Oh.
literally cook it to hammer it. And it's like the saltiness and like the texture of it that makes it delicious.
Okay.
It's almost like that gaminess from like having
Dehydrated.
meat out
Yeah.
that makes it so good.
So good.
Yeah,
But,
it's
yeah.
the fermentation,
Yeah.
that rotten.
It's
Right?
a good, man.
Yeah, right.
You know, you're talking to two Koreans, man. We eat some pretty gnarly stuff.
My mom has to have a fridge in the garage. My dad won't let her keep certain things in the house. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
When
Yeah.
so we used to live in an apartment up in the suburbs, and my mom used to make doenjang, which is fermented soybean paste, and it stinks. Right,
Uh-huh.
like it's soybeans that are rotten. It's gross. And it was like during the process, like the stinkiest part of the process, and then they get a knock on the door, and it's the police, and they're like, "We need someone called." Thinking there was a dead body
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
or a dead animal that they wanted to investigate. So they looked around, and then my dad's like, "It's this shit right
Pots
here."
got it. And the cops are just like, we're just gonna leave you guys
Yeah,
alone
they're
now.
like, "All right, you guys are eating that. All right." that's
My
fine."
aunt used to have it in her backyard in California, and I was asking my cousins if she still had, because she used to have the big pots like on
Yeah.
the side of the
Yeah.
house, but they had a lot of distance between the neighbors, so like there was no cops were ever called.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like asked my cousins recently, I was like, "Does your mom still have that on the side of the house?" And they're like, "No, like raccoons started getting into it. Like animals were
Yeah,
like taking the
raccoons
lids
love
off to be like, what's in here, getting inside the pots." But
Yeah,
that stuff is stinky.
yeah. After a certain age, my mom just stopped.
Yeah. There's something worse than tenjang though. It's called cheonggukjang.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like I don't even know what it is.
So it's like the not as processed or as fermented as.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it smells way worse.
Yeah, it does smell.
My mom would make this, and it's like one of those weird things. Like as a kid, like I remember first smelling it, and I was like, "That's rancid."
Yeah.
But I ate
Literally
it,
like
and you know, like me and my mom, we get excited. Like when she makes it for me, I'm just like, I was like stoked. I'd come home, I'm like, oh my god, fuck yeah, it's cheonggukjang. my brother, my older brother, Korean. I mean, he couldn't stand it. He couldn't even be home when this stuff was. So me and my mom would like eat it when my brother's not in the house or something like that. And it's just one of those things. Okay, jumping in. We've got a little activity planned here. Andy, you want to grab the masks? We've got a little parting gift for you guys. You guys can take these home. I don't use this brand, but I do use the sleeping mask. I don't know if you guys mess around with that. But feel free to open that up, and then there's two in there.
Get them for you because you
I
complain
love
about
these
light
things.
in the
Honestly, it was recommended by a doctor that me and Andy go to.
Nice.
That sleeping masks are, especially if you're living in the city, there's a ton of light just pouring in. He even went as far as to say that you should get some blackouts. But I've been practicing it, and it's been absolutely great. But the reason we're going to be putting those on, for anyone that's listening, we've got a little tray here, 6 different, I guess it's like a blend of 6 herbs and spices that you guys are going to be blind taste testing. So hopefully those palates are sharp. We will have a prize for the winner of this competition.
I hope it's chicken.
You guys ever blind taste wine or anything?
No.
No, I did a.
You guys don't drink wine?
I don't need to. I don't know shit what I'm drinking.
These are really dark.
Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll start with one by one. I think to make it fair, I think what we'll do is have them on the count of 3 say the answers out loud, right? So that there's no piggybacking off. Clearly, these two are competitive, so we want to make sure things are fair.
But just so you know, she has a better palate than I do.
Ooh.
No peeking, Ed.
And we've known this.
All right. You're going to be able to smell the aroma, so but be careful when you smell. When we get to the spices, you don't want to like pull it too hard. So
All I smell is
grab it?
pizza.
yes, so you guys can reach
The
out
answer
here.
is pizza.
I know it smells like pizza in here. Here's the ramekins right here.
Okay.
All right.
So we're doing on 3. So
All right.
1, 2, 3, and then yell out the answer.
All right.
You want
I'm
me
going
to
to give you
smell
guys
it
a
right
moment.
now?
Yeah, you can
Smell,
touch it.
you
You
can
can
taste it if you
smell it.
want.
You can even taste it. I assure you, these are all safe too.
Yeah, this is
All right.
easy.
Okay.
Ready?
We'll give Alexis another second here. She's processing.
I'm like a grazing cow right now.
All right. If you guys are both ready, on the count of 3, you'll say what that is in your ramekin. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Basil.
Oh, very nice. Nice job. You guys both get that one. That was actually fresh picked from my herb garden this morning, guys.
Smells
Nice.
delicious.
Yeah, I was telling Andy, I've been on a rage about, growing your own herbs at home. It's a night and day experience. All right, we've got the next ramekin in front of you guys. You want to reach right out? Give you guys a moment on this one. I like Ed's technique here, by the way. He's breaking it down. He's like bruising it a little bit,
Oh,
Feeling
this
the
one's
texture.
easy.
Yeah, we figured that this was the softball. So,
I got
all right,
this.
on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Deal.
Oh my God!
Wow.
All right, we're not fooling these guys. Nice job. All right, this next one is Ed. It's in front of you, Alexis. Here we go. It's right in front. All right. Okay. She's like, damn it. Fuck, I don't know what it is. All right. You guys are both good? On
Yeah.
3. 1, 2, 3.
Oregano.
Oh.
Oh.
What did she say?
Oregano.
Oh.
This is, in fact, thyme.
Oh.
Oh. Damn. Ed.
You know what, though? You guys were both equally wrong. So we're good.
Wow, how did I know
I think
that?
maybe that one last.
Yeah, you should
That-
be
That one's
embarrassed.
probably I'd go here to here. This one might be a little curveball.
Apparently time is a curveball.
Yeah, that was
All
a
right,
curveball.
Alexis is right in front of you. Be careful with this one, guys. I'm going to tell you this is not an herb. All right. Whoa, I thought that was a sound effect. All right,
Can I eat this?
you can. Yeah, everything here is edible.
Whoa.
Yeah. See, I think this one's a good one.
I have no idea. After that time,
Lost all confidence.
Yes. All right. Think about this one for a moment. Yeah, I think I'll say this. I throw you a little easy one. I think smelling it is going to be, and then when you think about that with the taste in conjunction, right?
Well,
There's like a profile on this one that
I've definitely had this before. But
this one's hard though.
It's probably much
We
easier.
don't want to make this too easy. It's like we got 2 people coming from the Alinea group. We're not gonna put salt in front of you guys, or will we? All right, let's go on 3, guys. I know if you don't have one, you could say I don't know. Sorry about that. On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Korean chilies, chili powder.
I have no idea, but it's like lemony.
Ooh. So you got the flavor profile. All right. The answer is incorrect. The answer is sumac.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't.
But you hit that acid, that lemony kind of quality. All right.
I've had this before.
All right, 2 more to go, guys. You guys are almost there. You guys are doing an amazing job. I have actually...
These sound effects make me feel very confident, by the way.
All right, you have it in front of you. Be careful. This is, again, a spice.
This is much harder than it looks.
Yeah, you know, I would put that sumac up against a lot of people. The dillwood being the easy one, probably, for sure. The basil was... That was a softball. All right. You guys getting this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Black pepper.
Peppercorn?
Oh, yeah. Spot on. All right. Last one, guys. You guys are doing amazing. What do we have here right now so far? 1. They got the 3 out of 5.
Damn, that's not good.
Are
We're
we
basically
tied?
Failing right
Are
now.
we tied right now?
We are tied.
Oh no. Okay.
I can't lose this. I'm gonna hear.
All right. This is it. This is the one right here. Okay.
This is it.
Is it in front of me?
It is in front of you.
I feel like I'm
Bless you. This is
Bless
for
you.
all the marbles.
Yeah. This is it. This is for bragging rights. This is for the prize.
Can I taste this one or is this one?
Yeah, you can,
Yeah, you can taste it.
don't snort it.
Yeah.
It smells spicy.
I think I know what this is.
Ooh, okay.
It's
I like the
tense.
confidence.
It's tense right now.
It is intense. We need the intense music. You know what I mean? Just like. I don't know if that's intense.
That's like serial killer.
Yeah, that's like someone's behind them. All right, I think you guys are
I
good
know
to
what
go
this
on
is,
this
but
one.
Maybe I don't because it's not like what it tastes like I think it should. Okay.
All right, on 3, guys. 1, 2, 3.
Korean chili powder.
flake.
Oh,
Yes. Wow. That's
All right.
You're both tied.
So they
That's what I
tied.
was tasting earlier.
Huh?
Fucking sumac got me.
Yeah,
You
that
guys
was
did
a
amazing.
tough
You
one.
guys can take the blindfolds off. Nice job. Congratulations to both of you. You guys both win.
I can't believe we both said oregano.
I know. I'm gonna get crucified.
Not smart.
You know what? To be fair, it's like it's fresh time. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like
And
most
like
of.
the little fur on the leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, oregano.
You know, I think you guys are used to like more dried time, things like that. But we've got an amazing prize for both of you guys. You guys both taking home a bottle of soju tonight. So we've got
Nice.
West 32 soju. It's one of the ones we use here in the restaurant.
Very cool.
Awesome partners out in New York City. It's named after 32nd Street, and they have an original, and then they do their original in barrel age for 6 months, and they call it the reserve. Fantastic stuff.
Awesome.
Me and my buddies drink it all the time, so very happy with that. Cool. I think we're gonna do a quick fire round, and then we're gonna dive into this pizza that's been sitting here. So what it will do is this. I think we'll switch off back and forth, and just get a quick answer from both of you guys. So maybe we'll start with Alexis here. Actually, I want both of you guys to get this one because this one's great. All right. What is the first thing you grab at in the morning?
We're supposed.
quick?
This is supposed
It's
to be
got to be quick, guys. This is
My
fire.
glasses.
My phone.
Okay.
We did not understand the assignment clearly.
I mean, I think most people are thinking like coffee. Most people are thinking like a journal, things like that. All right. How about both of you guys say this? Just we can do this at the same time.
It's quick, remember?
Yeah. Let's not think too hard on this one. And we should talk to you about that phone grabbing thing. That's not good. All right. What do you think people notice most about you?
My hair.
God. I don't.
It's quick.
It's
It's
quick.
quick?
My eyebrows.
All right.
I've been wearing a mask for a year and a half.
We're gonna keep this going. Biggest pet peeve.
When Ed snores.
I love it.
He said quick.
Kidding me?
Quick.
Quick.
Her
Chef.
anger.
Is it okay to sleep with socks on?
No.
Fuck no.
Ask for permission or ask for forgiveness?
Ask for forgiveness.
Oh, I like that.
Nice.
Favorite day of the week?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Oh, okay. Childhood nickname?
Dico.
Lexi.
Say
Lexi, and what was yours?
Dico.
Dico.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, here's an interesting one. Would you rather know every language in the world or be able to speak to all animals?
All
Being able to
animals.
speak all animals.
Fucking hate people.
People suck.
Our new drivers here, 1 to 10, how good of a driver is the other person?
Ooh.
7.
Ooh, really? 6?
5.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
To teleport.
To fly.
What? See,
we should have
we'll
recorded that.
come back to that one. See, teleport and fly, right? Awesome. And lastly, guys, what's one item you always have in your fridge or freezer?
Tofu.
Mayo.
Oh, all right. Well, that's it, man.
I have a few questions to ask.
Yeah, let's dive into some of those real quick.
Well, first of all, he literally called that you guys would say teleport and fly.
That's so
That was
we
a
were
magic
talking.
trick.
We
We
were
should've
brainstorming
recorded
these
that.
questions, and we're just like, I told them 99 out of 100 times, someone's gonna say fly or teleport. You know, it's like,
So we're very average.
yeah.
Man.
I was like, do I want to say like X-ray vision? I was like, nah, that's not as cool as teleporting.
I actually was gonna say to be able to cure people, like to cure.
Oh,
everything.
healing.
Yeah, healing.
You want to be Jesus.
Not
What's your
necessarily.
superpower? I'm Jesus.
Nazareth.
No, but I honestly thought about this like a month ago, and I was like, I probably just want to heal people.
That's actually a great power. That's who does that? Rogue?
Rogue?
X-Men?
I don't know.
I thought she could take
I thought
powers
she
from
was-
other
Oh, wait,
people.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm
But
an
what if?
X-Men.
But
So
you can't heal yourself though.
Oh.
That would be
That's
the
probably
that would be the price
downfall.
of the superpower.
which I would be fine with.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Why the socks? Why no socks? Why do you hate it so much?
Because you like wear them all day and they get like, we have 2 dogs and like dog hair gets on everything. So it's just like another thing that's like dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the freedom of being in bed and not have to like.
Yeah.
I can wiggle my toes and not feel restricted with the socks.
I think it's one of the best feelings is coming home from work and
Yeah.
taking the socks off.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
one of the. It's like the highlight of your day.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like the best part of it. So
being able to like feel the ground and it's cold on your feet.
I love changing the shoes at the end of work.
Yeah.
And then taking out the socks
Yeah.
when I get home.
even in the front of house, I change shoes.
Yeah. I mean, you should.
Yeah, I mean, well, I used to wear dress shoes and a suit and all that, and I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. So I wear sneakers, and I change it to more comfortable sneakers after the work.
Yeah,
So
right?
that works for me. We missed this one, but I think it was. What's your favorite genre of music? What do you guys digging these days? I know that's a tough one. You know, we ask this all the time. We ask like, what's your favorite movie? It's
R&B
like,
for me. R&B
Oh,
has always
really?
been the
like 90s R&B or
yeah 2000, early 2000s
Okay.
like R&B for me.
want to throw a couple bands out there or,
Like Boys to Men.
so everyone can
No,
jump
no.
on Tinoco's
B2K,
Spotify
Usher.
playlist.
B2K,
Chris Brown, Usher.
Chris Brown,
Okay.
like Mario,
Mm.
Let Me Love You is like the best song ever.
I love it.
Yeah, I think those are
Really?
the main ones for me. Yeah.
That's
I feel
awesome.
like I'm very similar, but like I also like punk. I grew up listening to punk music,
yeah.
so
Okay.
for me it's and I still do, and I feel like sometimes Ed looks at me like you're too old for that.
Like
but
Blink 182.
no, like I grew up listening to like NoFX, like
Oh.
Less Than Jake. That's more ska, but like stuff like that. I think I did go to a Blink 182 concert when I was like 15 years old, but like Bad Religion opened for them.
Yeah.
So I always say that like one of the first concerts I actually went to was a Bad Religion concert. I almost got trampled when everybody stormed the stage. I was like just a kid. But like R&B is great. And nowadays, I think this is influenced by Ed, but I listen to a lot of reggaeton and a lot of
Oh, hell yeah.
Spanish music.
Love
But
that
I
shit.
think that comes from him because he always listened to it, and now it's like something that I really enjoy.
Dude, you know, it's like I always love Spanish music. I just don't know what to listen to, you know. And it's like sometimes I ask the guys in the kitchen, and like it's interesting. I wish you guys had like a playlist. You guys, you know, I'm sure you guys got a lot of followers on Instagram. You should like have your own Spotify playlist for people to just check out what you guys are listening
Yeah, I
to.
mean, I think there's different types of Spanish music. Like you have the reggaeton, which is like the young people's music.
Oh, okay.
Then you have salsa, which is like the middle people.
Mark
Is it
Anthony, like,
ranchero?
so good.
Ranchero? or
Ranchera is
ranchera?
yeah. I mean, that's very it's Mexican.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like Spanish music like necessarily. But there are countries that are influenced by like cumbia. Like cumbia is like Colombian. There are also cumbia in Mexico.
Okay.
Salsa, what else? Merengue. There's, all over. I like all over music. I wouldn't say I necessarily like Mexican music as much,
Yeah.
but a lot of the music that I listen to is just like, brings me back home. Like
It also
listening
makes
to
you
old
want to
songs.
dance. It gets you moving. Like
You guys
it's the
both
only
like
kind
dancing?
of music that does that. He's a great dancer. I grew up doing ballet, but I'm not like as coordinated as he is. So
Oh, really?
I
He's
do
a bad
not.
dancer.
I do not dance around him.
Yeah, really bad.
I'm not a bad dancer. You've just never seen me dance.
Okay.
I don't dance either.
No,
I grew up like
Andy refuses to bob his head in the club, just so you know. I
Nope.
will never forget the last time we used to go out after work a lot. You know, I think Money Gun was like our go-to spot. We would go check out Lazy Bird every now and then. But one time we went out to Logan Square. I think I took him to the Black Lion. It's like awesome. If you guys haven't been, Logan Square, it's like a tiny little bar upstairs, but awesome 90s hip-hop music. That's the
gotta
jam.
Was it the old, like, the Red Door bar?
I'm not sure what was
on
there
Milwaukee?
before, but it's
No,
not,
I think Red Door was
Okay,
on the same
maybe
street,
like
but
across.
the
Yeah.
street,
Okay.
yeah.
not on the side of the owl, not on the owl side. It's on the
Okay.
other side. Great hip-hop music. Love the spot. Yeah, took Andy there, a bunch of us there. I'm having a blast. I'm just like off the table, just feeling the music, just vibing. Andy's just like stone cold. Like I'm like, dude, do we even bop heads here? Like, come on, do we do anything? You know, he's like, dude, it's good.
This is
good
me having
music.
fun.
It was like stoic. I was like, okay, awesome.
I'm the type of person I can't hide it if I'm like enjoying
Right,
the
man.
music. Like
Yeah.
even in the streets, you'll probably like catch me like just like
Yeah.
listening to music and feeling it.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think we were Daniel, the producer, and I were talking about this earlier. How like we just can't express sometimes because he was like, dude, this is so exciting, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, this is so exciting.
This is so exciting.
That was my,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. It's the Han inside of us. I don't know if you
Right.
guys know. What
See,
that
I think both of you would agree. We've been trying to get Daniel to grab a microphone so that he can chime in every once in a while, but he's absolutely. He must be a Gemini too. That's my guess.
That's his feelings right now.
Great. You guys want to dive into this pizza?
Let's do it.
So I don't know much about what we've got here, but Andy's gonna go ahead and get this just ready. We're gonna dive into it. Andy, who brought this pizza for? We ordered it.
I was gonna
D'Amato's.
say I've never seen a pizza delivered in a brown paper bag. That's interesting.
It's very Chicago.
Nor can I
never seen
remember the last time I ordered a pizza that big. Like when Nairi brought that in, I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's a
That's
very
a-
large piece of pizza.
And we're talking D'Amato's on Grand? You know,
Oh,
so
they-
I
they
didn't know
do
they do
the-
pizzas.
They sell bread too, right?
Yeah.
Like a bakery, Italian bakery. Okay.
There's an interesting story there. I wish I actually knew more about it, but Andy might actually know the story between Body, right, and D'Amato, which is kind of interesting how in the old days, I think there's like a little competition there, you know.
What is
how,
it?
So there's two stores right on that corner.
Oh, Bari,
Yeah,
yeah.
Bari,
Okay.
and you have D'Amato's, and it's
Got it.
literally
Thank
right
you.
next to each other. I think they were both doing bread, and then one's like, I'm gonna make some sandwiches. And then the
Yeah.
other was like, fuck that, we'll make some sandwiches too. It's like the Korean dry cleaners
Yeah,
thing.
I'm
It's
gonna
like,
open up
oh,
right
I'll
across the
open
street
up
from
and I'll
you.
charge 25 cents less than you.
That's funny because this neighborhood, the cleaners that we had across the street from our old apartment, they shut down after COVID. And I was like, oh man, I got to find a new dry cleaner. And funny enough, they're all owned by like Korean
Yeah.
grandmothers or grandpas. There's like 7 more, like within like a half a mile radius.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Thank you.
Forks and knives.
No.
Okay. Andy, you want to tell us a little bit about what we've got today? Daniel, here's your little glory shot of this pizza. I will mention, before Andy jumps into this is quite an expensive pizza. When he text messaged me today how much it was, I was like, holy shit, dude.
In all fairness, that's a huge.
It is a
pizza.
huge pizza for
Super
those of
Bowl
you that
Sunday
can't see this
pizza.
on camera. It's enough to feed, I would say,
55 people.
Whole village.
Yeah,
Yeah.
50 to 60
Yeah.
people.
which is great because I'm sure our kitchen team's going to love that at the end of the shift.
So yeah, D'Amato's, I believe it's how you pronounce it. I've been supporting them for years, but I don't know. It's a different type of pizza. It's not typical, right? They do a like a Roman style pizza.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
it looks like it's on focaccia or
Yeah,
something.
more of a focaccia than the classic.
Oh,
crust.
interesting. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I actually like getting it there because they toast it for you by the slice. I've never ordered the whole thing, so this is a first for me too. But what we have in front of us is their supreme. So it looks like
Tomatoes, mushrooms. No tomatoes.
bell peppers, just
Yeah.
tomato sauce, mushrooms, sausage, onions.
It smells amazing. I mean, for what it's worth, to be fair, it's been sitting here probably an hour in front of us. All right, I'm going to dive in.
All right, let's do it.
I like that it's on like that focaccia bread. It's like spongy and squishy.
I like everything that like seasoned. I hate when they put so much stuff on the pizza and none of it's like seasoned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's like really good.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, so this is, are we kind of...
Yeah, we should look at this like scoring here. You know, what are we judging? Crust
Let's say, yeah, crust,
or bread, right?
seasoning.
In this case, crust, bread, seasoning. Value.
How deliverable it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, and value.
All right. So on what do we want to do? 1 to 5 on
Let's do 1 to 5.
1 to 5. So keep it simple. You know, no hard feelings. This again, and pizza's been here, sitting here for a little bit.
I love you, tomatoes.
Tomatoes on Grand. Go check them out. We get sandwiches from them all the time. And JP Graziano's.
Oh yeah, that's my jam.
Sorry, guys. We had to throw that in there. All right. Let's just do around the table real quick on bread. What do you got? 1 to 5.
1 to 5. Right now, I'm going to say it's about a 3.5.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 4 just because I like how it's different from. You know what I mean? I'm usually doing like cavern style pizza all the time. So yeah, I'll go 4.
I would probably say about a 4, only because I know it's been sitting for a while, but
Right.
like just because it's a little bit soggy in the middle portions.
Yeah.
But I think that I like it. It's tasty.
Yeah, I think I'll do 3.5.
Okay.
Bad
The
for a
chefs,
second
the
there.
chefs are hard. Okay. What do we want to just overall seasoning and
Yeah, let's say, the
Flavor?
Flavor. I'd say it's about about a 3.5.
3.5? All right. Okay. I like it. I mean, and then I to be fair, I think when Ed mentioned the amount of toppings that are on this guy,
Yeah.
and it's still really flavorful to me, I'm gonna give it a 4. Like
Yeah.
I think he nailed it on the head. There's a ton of shit on this pizza, and it still tastes good. You know, it doesn't feel muddled and like boring.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 3.5, only because Ed mentioned it's jam packed full of toppings. I actually like when my pizza's like spatially like nice, so you can like kind of pick it up and get like a little thing with every bite. This has got lots of toppings, so it's like very like, I don't want to say messy, but it's just got a lot going on for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna go say a 4 because it's just very delicious. The combinations just go well. Obviously, very classic mushroom, pepper, and sausage and onion, but just well done. You can taste every single component on it.
I like it.
Nice.
And then I think the last one should just be value.
Value, yeah.
And I'll put it out there. This pie costed $55. All right, so you know it's just something to keep in mind.
But
I
in
mean,
all fairness, it feeds about,
it's
honestly,
huge.
feeds about,
Let's agree that it's about what 3 foot.
it's
in
a
the-
3-foot pizza, yeah.
It's like a 3 foot
3
pizza.
by 2 pizza.
Oh, it's square.
Yeah. It's
Oh, okay.
It's the size
That
of a
makes
small
sense.
child.
I'm like, why is this
just
focaccia?
like a little bit bigger.
Why they cut it into rectangles when it's
yeah.
a circle pizza? $55. It'll feed a ton of people. Andy.
I think it's, for value, it's 5 out of 5.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to stick with my 4 here, and we'll see how this thing goes along with the pizza thing. But I'm going to stick to 4. I think that it's a ton of food. You know, like for me, if I ate that slice right there, I'm going to feel pretty satisfied from it. So knowing that that'll feed, you know, what is it, like 15 people probably? You know, that's pretty good.
I'm gonna also go with a 5.
Oh.
I feel like for the size and the heftiness of it,
Yeah.
like 2 pizzas from another place might cost you $60.
Yeah.
Well, that's very true.
Yeah, so I feel like it's good value for what they're selling.
Yeah, and they're hefty. They're like big slices.
This
You
weighs
get
about
I was gonna say.
the slice weighs
Yeah.
about 17 pounds.
17,
yeah, it's pretty
18,
heavy.
no.
No,
Something like
seriously,
that.
no joke.
Yeah, I'm a big pizza eater, so I'll probably eat normally 4 slices, and this is like very satisfying. So
Yeah.
I think 5.
Oh, all right,
Nice.
nice. That's really great. I'm a little surprising with the price tag on it, but with that being said, I just ordered Jets the other day, and I'll tell you, I got what they call a 4-corner pizza. Like I was obsessed with Jets from as far back as I can remember. That turbo crust is delicious.
Yeah.
But I got a 4-corner pizza that's the size of our 4 slices, and I think I dropped like $35 on that 4-corner pizza. So
Have you guys had Jets before?
I've had it
Once or
once.
twice, yeah.
yeah.
Just
Oh,
like a
really?
cheese pizza, though, like somebody ordered it after work or something.
No, it's super delicious, but very, very
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
And on a huge scale, they're pumping out stores. I think it's one of the fastest growing in the pizza kind of like franchises. Yeah.
Honestly, for us, we're Domino's people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have to have at least once a month Domino's for sure.
What's your toppings? Are you guys going half?
I
Like
just order like 2 separate pizzas usually because
Oh,
we're so different. Yeah.
Yo, so what's your pizza from
Okay,
Domino's?
I jalapeno pineapple.
ooh,
Yeah.
okay, love jalapenos.
Sausage, pepperoni, and jalapenos.
Yes,
If I have to choose one,
Yeah.
I'm a meat eater. Like
yeah.
Mexicans always have to eat protein with their meals.
Yeah.
Like it's just a thing.
What about the crust? Do you like the
The
hand tossed?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like thin
She
crust?
knows better. She orders it for me. I
Well,
have no
coming
idea.
to Chicago from New York, everybody says like Chicago is a big pizza city, but like I think that we're super fans of like New York style pizza,
Yeah.
which is like a thinner crust, but it's not like I think the thin crust is called like Brooklyn style. I think is what
Yeah.
they call it. So not like that, but we like the pizza where you can hold it and like fold it in half and like eat while you're
Yeah.
like walking somewhere. I don't even know what that's called. I think it's just New York style pizza.
I think that's New York style.
Yeah.
I think Brooklyn is being marketed now. Like I
Crispy.
think they all carry a Brooklyn style. Domino's, I think, even does it.
Yeah, like thin and crispy.
Yeah, it's
with the
crispy.
crust.
Yep.
The crust, yeah.
But I think if we had to do like a Domino's pizza, I think usually we get like the hand tossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
it's the go-to with that garlic.
Yeah,
that
the
delicious
garlic butter.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
It's
The
so
dogs
good.
get the crust. Little treat.
Oh yeah, is that
Yeah.
good for the?
That's not good for them.
It's been fine
That's
so
not what we
far.
said.
Domino's is good for it's not good for humans.
Not advice for
Or is it good
anybody.
dogs?
I love Domino's.
I want to get on the record here just because she brought up the Chicago pizza thing, and I just feel like there's just been so much misconception on the Chicago pizza. So I just want to state for the record here that Chicago pizza is not a deep dish pizza. Like
Yep.
for and I know people have talked about this, but if you grew up here in Chicago, the pizza was a tavern style pizza. So like cornmeal crust on the bottom, thin square cut. Like that was it.
Yeah, you get
And
like it's like a 22-inch
Right.
pizza, right? It's just like it's cut into squares.
Every birthday party you've ever been to in Chicago, it's like that was what's being served. But like now everyone comes to Chicago and they think deep dish. But yeah, it's just my 2 cents on it. I'm like, if you're gonna do a deep dish, like go to Pequod's, get a deep dish there. But
Yeah.
that is not like the real pizza that.
don't think
I was
Those
gonna
are
say,
hot
is Chicago
deep dish.
style more like a Giordano's or something like that?
Yeah, so like
You mean deep dish? You're talking.
No, they do like a thinner crust pizza. Giordano's.
Oh
and
no,
then
yeah, you're right.
there's,
They do it there too.
They do it
like a
taverns.
Lou
They do
Malnati's
tavern
or
style.
something
Yeah,
like
they do
that.
it.
Lou Mal's thin crust is seriously,
It's amazing.
It's one of the best. I mean,
Yeah, they make some good pizza.
it's-
I always figured that was like the Chicago thing because they're so similar between so many different places that are like Chicago
Yeah.
specific. Like, there's no like Lou Malnati's like outside of that I've seen,
Right.
like outside of like this area.
Yeah.
So
Where's the best pizza you guys ever had?
Man, I'm gonna plug in my buddy's pizza shop out in Oakland. So Andy actually helped him open this restaurant, and then over the years, he's really evolved it into his own thing, and he uses a natural starter yeast and sourdough, and it's insane how popular he's gotten through the pizza universe.
Yeah.
And it's called Leaning Tower Pizza. It's in Oakland. Unbelievable, man. I thought Jets was the best Detroit style pizza till I had my buddy's Detroit style out there, and it was the fucking super fluffy, just unbelievable, crispy crust. Yeah, it's the best. If you're in the Bay Area and near Lake Merritt, that's where his shop is. Check out Leaning Tower Pizza.
But if you're in Chicago,
Okay.
man, I don't know. It depends on my mood, I guess, because I do love tavern style.
Yeah.
What
Like Barnaby's is
Vito,
solid.
Vito and Nick's.
Vito and Nick's.
Like
Yeah.
of course. But I love Pequod's.
Pequods.
Have you guys been to Pequod?
I detest Pequods.
Ooh.
why?
You know, there's
The
an
first-
original
the
Pequods versus.
Well, the first time we went there was at the recommendation of people. I don't think we ordered the right thing, and it's like right by like the college, so it was filled with like a bunch
Yeah.
of like punk college kids,
Yeah.
and
Lincoln Park.
it was just like I was like, no. I think it was the first pizza that we had when we moved to Chicago, and I was like,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
You know what though? So much of dining, right? Your dining experience is that though. It's
Yeah.
not just the food. It's you know everything that happened that day. It's the people that you bumped into before you walked in. It's just like there's just so much things to you know to a great dining experience. But
We'll have to give it another shot.
So there used to be a place called Bert's.
yeah, there's a story here with
That
this.
Pequod's. I guess someone who used to work at Bert's took the recipe or the style of pizza and made it in his own. But the two original, they're in Morton Grove, and they're literally like
Next to
it's
each
like
other.
a suburban street, and
It's like
they're-
the bar
It's like
the
they're
model
right there.
thing, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's so strange, but they're both delicious. Bert's is no longer around. I think
Yeah,
he
he-
has like someone bought the brand and is trying to
Yeah.
revive it.
I don't know if he's alive.
No, Bert's passed away.
Okay,
Bert
yeah,
passed
he's
away.
gone.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. A few years
Rest
ago.
in peace, Bert.
Yeah.
But that's the original Pequods up there. You know, it's like a small little place. Like the bathroom, when you go into the bathroom, it doesn't even close the door. They have one of those like metal swinging latches,
Yes.
and like I'm telling you, if you were like, and this is gross, I mean, but if you were like farting and taking a shit, like everyone in the dining room is hearing you and smelling you because like the door doesn't even close, man. It's like one of those like it's like a sailor boat or something. You just whoosh, like
An
latch it on.
airplane bathroom.
Yeah, but not even that
Not
well.
even
that
that
doesn't
nice.
close.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty grimy in there. But they do like a $5 pan, like individual pan pizza at the original Pequods up there in Morton Grove, and that's where all the seasoned cast irons are. I mean that's why people say, "Oh, have you been to the original Pequods?" And to experience that. But
Dude, this reminds me. There was a place out in California. I don't know if it's around anymore. If you guys were out there when you were younger, it was called like Round Table Pizza.
Okay.
It was like a Bay
Yes.
Area thing.
It was
My
West
par-
Coast.
Yeah, my parents used to take me there all the time, and it's such a specific flavor. I still like, now that we're talking about pizza, I'm like, oh man, I remember like the sausage, how it tasted on their pizza.
Yes.
They
How
had
come I
like
never heard of this?
they had like the old school like lights that you remember like the old Pizza Huts, how they would have like the glass lights, like the mosaic.
color.
Oh,
had-
yeah.
They had colored lights
Yeah.
everywhere. It was like really like totally 80s, like if a Sizzler and a Pizza Hut had a baby.
Oh,
and-
wow.
Yes.
But that place was awesome, like legit. I remember that.
Are they
from
still
the video.
around?
I don't know.
They were always next to like a Ross.
Yeah, they're always in a strip mall, Round
that's
Table
so
Pizza.
great.
Yeah,
I
it
had
was
my
like the Knights
first
of the Round
Ross
Table.
experience. Yeah, because of Anjo. I never heard of Ross in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Anjo. My girlfriend was so excited to take me to my first Ross experience. When I was in the Bay, it was Golden Boy Pizza was like the go-to spot. I don't know if you know that, remember it, but they kill it. Like fucking long wait outside. They put all their pies on the window, so you just see like, oh fuck, like they're down to like 2 more of the slice that I want, And then there's also strategy, right? You're like, oh, they probably got a fresh one in the oven. I don't want those last 2 fucking slices.
Yeah.
So you guys
You're
go
like,
ahead.
hey, go ahead of me, man. Don't worry, I haven't made up my mind yet. And then you just wait for that fresh pie to drop, and you're like, fuck yeah, give me that one.
Oh man.
Bay
Yeah.
Area had a lot of
Shit.
good pizza out there.
Bay Area's just got a lot of good food, man. Shout out to Bay Area, man. It's like my second favorite city. Well,
Not anymore.
not anymore, but
Just,
I mean, shit's
Changed a
getting
little
crazy
bit.
over there. It's
Yeah.
getting wild. But
yeah, it's crazy.
the food, the people, I would say some of the best people I've ever met in the world are from the Bay. I don't know enough New Yorkers, but I just feel like the vibe I get from most people is that people in New York can be kind of, it's like it's Chicago, but they're nice.
Yeah.
And I feel like in New York, I don't know.
Yeah.
People are really busy in New York. They don't have time to like stop for anybody.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, it's like everyone's
Everyone
got
seems
a
like
place to be,
they're in a
a
rush.
place to go. Yeah. It's very, very quick. And then on the West Coast, funny enough, the first time I took him out to Arizona to meet my parents was, I think, the first time he was out on that side of the states.
Man.
And I was like, be warned. I'm like a very high strung person, so I had to get out of there as fast as I could. I was like, be warned. People move at a different pace out here.
Oh, it's like slow.
It's
like
slow. And not because you're in Arizona and there's a lot of like older people. I'm like, it's just a West Coast, Southwest type thing. It's like that. And I think we were in like an Urban Outfitters, and I was getting like a stocking stuffer for my brother or something. And there was about 5 people in line in front of us and 3 cashiers, and nobody was moving.
Yeah.
And after about 5 minutes, Ed is like, what the fuck is going on? Why is nobody moving? And I was like, dude, I told you. The cashiers were like chatting.
Yeah.
And they were like swapping phone numbers and
God.
photos of their kids. And he was like, I'm going to lose my mind. And I was like, this is just how it is out here.
Yeah.
People like different pace.
Yeah, I've worked in Houston, and I remember my first Starbucks experience in Houston was just like, what the fuck? I mean, you know, sometimes Chicago's not that much better.
Chicago's turning into that.
The Starbucks on Clark in Illinois, or whatever that was right there, Clark and Hubbard, it was just fucking terrible. But in Texas, yeah, like things move slow, you know,
Yep.
even when it's not busy. It's just like, that's their pace of life. And I think we come from like a, you know,
a little bit
quicker paced life.
We're also
so.
in the industry, so it's like sense of urgency.
Yeah, I'm always like looking at things like, you know, as like someone in the front of house, it's like, I'm sure you guys too, there's like a switch that I can't turn off when I go out and eat sometimes. It's like I can't stop observing certain things, you know. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, shit's about to go down here, you know. It's
This
like,
is why we're not allowed to sit at like chef's counters where you can look into the kitchen because of this guy right here.
Right.
They'd be like, let's
Just
sit at the
like-
counter. And I'm like, no, like I see you and then I watch you watching. And like, it's just like this cycle. I'm like,
he's like tasting all the mise en place. He's
It's
like,
like,
hey,
what the fuck are they doing?
it's like, I wouldn't do that like that. I'd do this like this. What's that guy doing over there? I'm like, you're here to eat. Like,
have you guys, what's a recent place you guys have gone out to eat at, something like a new spot or a first time for you guys that you guys really enjoyed?
didn't we go somewhere new recently? No?
I don't think so.
I checked out Rosemary, but I was with some girlfriends.
Okay.
So we,
I
we
mean, I
did
think
that.
the newest restaurant that I love right now is Kasama or Kasama. I don't
Yeah.
know how
Awesome.
you say it.
Stuff.
Yeah, shout out to Jeannie and Tim over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's a
love
good
those
spot.
guys. We sort of, obviously, we know each other from the industry, but I just love supporting small businesses, and I think that, you know, everyone says it all the time,
Yeah.
but it's something that we should be doing and
Yeah.
really, like, supporting.
Living it,
absolutely.
right?
And just, you know, see the difference between actually supporting to, like, getting stuff for free and actually investing money into the business, like,
Right.
going there often and
Yeah.
showing support, like, even if you don't have nothing to gain back. Like, I
Right.
think that's very important, is that we have to just show love.
Right.
You know, it's something with you guys too. I love what you guys do, but, you know, I wish we can come here more often.
Yeah.
But we love it so much that we just want to keep the magic going.
I appreciate it, man.
Thank
No,
you,
it means a lot to us. During the pandemic, when you guys would come and pick up food, and I remember like even delivering to you guys. I think even before I knew it was you guys ordering the food. But you know, it's I think nothing makes us happier when we're like feeding our own family, right? Our
Yeah.
own industry. And it's just like, and to see the amount of support you guys did for us, like even those little things, that they go such a long way for us. And as a small independent business, you know, I don't think people really understand, like,
Yeah.
yeah, even me and Andy, like, we didn't understand how difficult it is to kind of be up against some of these big, you know, big groups out there, you know, until you're in it, right? And the water gets dicey at times, and a pandemic will really kind of fuck you up a little bit. But you know, it's through the love and support of like people like Ed and Alexis that really kind of helped keep this restaurant alive, and here we are today, and we're extremely happy about it. And I don't think there's anything we can't look in the face of anymore after getting through that shit. You know, we're just like, what the fuck else
Yeah.
could you throw at us now?
But I mean, I think what you guys have is special. And I remember having it a couple times before we actually met you in the office.
Yeah.
She was like, hey, you need to calm down right now.
Well,
hold on,
the
before-
reservation like came in, and I was like, "Why do I know this name?" And I was like, I know this.
So that's what's so crazy. I was telling. So Angeline was my girlfriend who came in with us that night, and I was telling
She's
this.
still your girlfriend.
Yeah, she still is. I'm so. Oh,
I'm
shit.
like, whoa,
She's
what?
She's like, "Excuse me."
Was my girlfriend.
So the whole thing that happened, it was weird. I was telling these guys, I was like, we came there on a whim. I had just like ate like you know, a dinner for like 4. The way me and Angeline eat at a restaurant, like we just went to Rosemary and ordered, I think 70% of the menu for 2 of us, and she was like, "What the fuck?" Like our server, but we're like, we like to take like 2-3 bites of things, then we'll pack it up. You know, we're gonna enjoy the leftovers.
Yeah.
But for us to get out and enjoy ourselves in a restaurant, both working in restaurants, it's like we want to take it all in. You know, we don't get to go to Rosemary every single week. And I just ate this insane dinner. She had never had, what was it, beef Wellington in her life. You know, she's from the Bay Area, so she thinks that Lowry's out there? No, House of Prime Rib.
House of Prime
She
Rib.
thinks it's the greatest thing in the world. So I wanted her to experience a beef Wellington. We took her to Andy's old spot, ate this unbelievable dinner, and we walked over to the office. when I got down, I had never been in there before. It didn't even dawn on me that it was a linear spot until I think we walked through the aviary.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I just spent a lot of money. I'm like, fuck, what did I do? And like we get
I haven't
downstairs.
even sat down yet, and your wallet's already 3 pounds later.
I'm like clenching my pocket. I'm like, okay, all right, we got this. Like, I'll order like a cheap drink, and you know, she loves chartreuse. I like chartreuse, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get some chartreuse. I like start scrolling through this PDF menu, and I'm like, oh my fucking god. I start scrolling as fast as I can, going down. Like the numbers are starting to shrink. It's going from 4 digits to 3 digits, and I finally get down to like the current vintage chartreuse, and I'm like, I'll have the 2017 chartreuse, you know? Anjo orders, of course, like some $75 fucking, I don't even remember what it was. I was just like, what she ordered. I was like, oh, hey, babe, how much was that, you know? And it was the best part about this, we're just blown away by the whole experience, right? I don't remember the bartenders' names, but they were so cool. They were showing us all these old bottles. And I was like, man, this is such a cool fucking experience, you know, especially for any geeks out there that love spirits and wines and whatnot. And the best part was they mark our table with 2 spoons. And for those of you listening, marking, they were like setting down spoons as if we have food coming. And I kind of snickered at Anjo. I was like, I thought this was the Alinea group, dude. Like, they marked the wrong table. I'm like, what is going on? You know, I'm like, there's only like 6 people down here. Like, how could they have made that mistake?
They suck.
And I was like, and Andrew was like, yeah, it's kind of strange. And then when you two came down and said, like, did the whole thing, I was fucking floored. I want you guys to know that. You know, it was such a special thing. I couldn't wait to come back and tell Andy about it.
Talking about it.
I couldn't. It's like those things, though, in our business that really, right, just hit. That's hospitality, right? That's like in its essence. It's just the noticing the small thing. Yeah. I can't even believe you guys came down. It was like in service too. You guys were in service.
Like she texted me and I was in the middle of service. She's like, "You need to come down here." I was like, "What's up?" Like she barely does that.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, the guy from Perilla's here." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Because I thought she was talking about Perilla in New York. I was like, "Harold?"
Shit, Harold's here.
I was like, "No, the one we always order fruit from." I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
That's awesome.
Really good with names and faces. I'm pretty good with too. So I think I just saw the name pop up and I was like, I need to get on Instagram and see if it's the same person. I was like scrolling through to find like a photo and I was like, yeah, that's him.
It was awesome. It was a very cool experience. Yeah. And it's one of those things that just the lasting, you know, it's like, I'll never forget that, right, for the rest of my life. So I appreciate that from you guys.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Still haven't been.
Yeah.
You have to.
I know. Yeah. I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah.
Though, you know?
He's not. But.
So like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I would go to the Aviary and then not fully appreciate
I'm sure cocktail. You would. No, you would appreciate it. Yeah. But you just, you know, we get that Asian glow, you know, we get red face and but either way, I've been getting Andy on drinking. You'd be surprised. He's getting really good at blind tasting wine. He's been, like I was just like, he stunned me the other day. I think it was, we were here with Jennifer Kim of Paso Roto, and she was a guy, William Lee from New York was in town. And so we were all just kind of hanging out, having some drinks. And I poured this guy his blind wine as soon as he got out of service, and he just fucking nailed it. He was just like, this is Chardonnay. I was just like, holy shit. I mean,
it's the only grape I know.
No, Andy, I feel like you've nailed like Sancerre. He's got Gruner before, you know, he's throwing it out there. But we do, you know, I think pre-pandemic more than anything, but we've been doing it a little less now. But every night we wrapped up, you know, we would blind taste the wine together, you know, just at the end of shift. It's just one, we want to enjoy a glass of wine at the end of the night, and two, we get to like, he gets to learn from it. I get to like, you know, practice at it and just kind of fine tune palate, smell, and all that jazz. And it's been something we've had a lot of fun with in our staff get-togethers here. Like fucking everyone's excited about it now, and like, you know, like Patty will come with like 3 wrapped bottles, and everyone's bringing bottles, and it's
that's
like
awesome.
they're all fucking excited to like to test us, right?
Yeah.
So
it's just a whole new layer of like this world that we're in that I just didn't realize how ignorant I was to it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And just like over the last couple of years, working with Tom is just like, I'm newly educated on, you know, all of this new shit, you know, even just like working front of house, right? Like I I don't know how thoroughly, versed you are on front of house stuff, but like, I didn't know jack shit up there,
Yeah.
But working with Tom, it's just like, I feel really like if he wasn't here for a weekend, I think I might be able to.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the weekend off. So
Yeah, but we're short staffed.
No, we're lucky at the Laney Group that like, once you're chef, you're in charge of everything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty, hands-on with the front of the house as well. I work with Alexander, who's my GM, but I mean, he does the same thing in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We're full on. I'm responsible for the restaurant, so I need to make sure that everything's right, or even in the scenarios or all of that. But wine is something that I would love to learn too. We used to have the sommelier. His name is Joao, who's a good friend of mine. We worked together every time we made a menu because he would do the pairing. But it's the same thing. It's a part of the experience that we need to be educated more on. It's just very time consuming.
Oh my God.
It is, but I think it's extremely rewarding, especially for a chef. I love the take from the guys up north in Canada. Remind me his name, the
Joe Beef?
Joe Beef. He did a post or something like that. What was the thing that I shared with you? And was it on the podcast or something? It was a podcast episode, and the chef of Joe Beef was like talking about how much his perspective on the actual being a chef experience has changed for him, understanding how much that glass of wine that's sitting at the table is affecting that plate of food.
Yeah.
And he's extremely well versed in it.
He also became a full-blown.
He did become an alcoholic. I think he's dry. He's been dry though for years. I think he still tastes. Like I think that's like important to him.
Yeah, I've been in different scenarios where like you create a dish and it's a good dish, but the wine just takes it to the next level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes that acid,
A perfect example is the Italian menu we did at Next, cacio e pepe. Very simple pasta, cheese, and black pepper.
Yeah.
It was executed pretty well, but the wine that we paired it with, it just took it to the next level, and people didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Why? I didn't understand it, but it's just, it completes the experience in the dish.
What wine was it? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I'll have to ask him.
That's
I'll
the
have
crazy
an answer
stuff.
later on my Instagram.
Like Tom somehow will, like I'll drink something. He's like, "Do you like that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's delicious." He's like, "Yeah, you had it 3 years ago when we were at da 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 da." And I'm like, "Why do you remember that?"
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird thing. I think sommeliers just have this like, I don't know, bookcase in their brains.
I don't know. I feel like it's just such a different like experience for me when it's like you especially when you're buying wine. I've had this like kind of evolution in how I used to think. There was like when I first started making a list for my restaurant, it was like, cool, I just want cool shit, right? It was like cool shit to have cool shit. And then I've grown, I think, now to understand and appreciate that like, it's got to make sense on the table. It's got to fit the menu, and there's a place for everything, but it doesn't have to be this like extraordinarily expensive wine. I love searching for the cheap shit. Yeah. That's like my new passion now. If I can find a $15 fucking bottle that's like lights out delicious, so Andy does a lot of the tastings with me when the reps come, and I make them all. I make it clear to them. I don't ever want prices when I'm tasting wines. I usually take a stab at what the price of that wine is, and if he's under me, then I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like that's a golden ticket for me. And I think all of everything we're doing here, we want to keep things fresh, light. I don't want everything. I just like, for me, everything on our beverage, I don't want anything to stand out on its own here. Everything should like just complement what Andy's doing on the kitchen side.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like, so like for me, it's like I joke about it every single day. Every time I see an old fashioned go out in the beginning of dinner service on the first thing that hits the table, I'm just like, oh, fucking shit. Like just wrecked his palate, man. Like I don't get it. I wish we would change that culture a little bit.
Sometimes I hate to say it, it's a dude thing. I feel like you get a table of like 5 guys or businessmen that come in and like they're gonna order a lot of food and have a good time, but the first thing they want is a Manhattan or an old fashioned. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Do you guys at the Aviary, is it a course thing? Like there's a progression to cocktails, or is it just a la carte? Like can you go in there and just do?
We have a la carte and a prefix menu. We'll get back to doing a tasting menu, I'm sure, in the near future. We have like kitchen tables and stuff, 7-course type menu deals. But it's a prefix menu, and you can order any of those items a la carte if you would like. But the prefix is set up so you have like the lighter, brighter, more refreshing, focused on flavored ice. The middle section is kind of like usually more technique driven or has a cool service piece, and then the bottom section is kind of like your dark and stirred or your your nightcap style of drink. So yeah, we do
Right.
that.
Your old fashions.
Yeah. The old fashions, yeah. And we also set up our menu, so like in the office,
Yeah.
it reads at like the lightest style cocktail first and the heavier
Right.
at the bottom. And a lot of people will just kind of skip straight to the bottom. And
Can
So-
you explain why to our listeners? Why do you not want to have a drink like an old fashioned or a Manhattan at the beginning?
I do that all the time.
you're one of those.
There you go,
You know,
Danielle.
to be honest, to
That was
each
our
his own.
producer.
If like that's how someone's gonna drink, you know, we're gonna, you know, no one's. If someone wants like a vodka soda and we're at this craft cocktail bar, we're not gonna have any qualms with it. I think for me, it's more the progression in which you drink. So if you're like out at a bar and you've had dinner already and you're going to be drinking old fashions all night, like go for it.
Right.
But I think what a lot of people don't realize is like you're going out to dinner, and a lot of times, like you said, the food and the wine are meant to complement each other. And sometimes when you have something super heavy up front, it does kind of wreck your palate a little bit. I feel like it sits longer. And I also feel like the more heavy and boozy something is in the beginning, a lot of times you're going to start to get buzzed or
Right.
get a little bit out of the zone in which you're going to actually appreciate all the food and stuff that comes out to you. I'm very much like a low ABV beverage drinker. Like I said, a daiquiri is my favorite cocktail, but
Right.
Campari and soda is kind of something that I drink. So I know that like I'm not going to get like Hammer Town. I'm not 22 anymore. But I think in the style of starting lighter and moving towards a heavier direction, I think a lot of people say that because then you're kind of in control of what happens at the beginning and you can appreciate all the things that happen at the front of an experience, and then saving something like that, which is, you know, a heavy, dark and stirred nightcap style drink for the end where you can actually kind of savor it on its own or with like a dessert. So in the essence of pairing things, I think that made a lot of sense.
Do you drink old fashions because it's easy to order, and you know you're gonna like it?
Yes.
So it's like your
Consistency.
safe zone,
Yeah.
and you know you're gonna get drunk or buzzed right away.
I actually don't. So I don't know if it's like the Korean genetics, but like I just can drink a lot and not get drunk.
Really?
That's not true.
You're a unicorn.
We're gonna test that out.
You're like the opposite of what I've heard. Yeah, most people get drunk right away or get like sick right away.
For Koreans,
Yeah.
oh,
I think
I can't. I would say
I don't know.
I hold my
get-
liquor really well.
I get red right away.
yeah, it's
Yeah, I
the,
mean-
I
it's
get
the-
flushed,
mhm.
but I'll
Wow.
I'll keep going.
It might be
Amazing.
so. A lot of Koreans, like myself, have like an allergic reaction
Yep.
to alcohol. So
Yeah.
I have physical symptoms, like my nose will run, my heart will start beating out of my chest,
But you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna drink.
headaches.
Yeah, you just power
No,
through.
I actually don't. I
Oh, you
hate
said
it.
you don't drink
I
that
hate
much.
drinking, and
Yeah.
then like sometimes Tom will peer pressure me into like literally forcing me to experience this terrible time.
Yeah, I always heard it was an allergic reaction that would just,
Yeah.
it's like uncomfortable. You get red, you get flushed, you get
Yeah.
hot in the face. But honestly, like when we lived in Korea, there was like a noodle shop kind of around the corner from where we lived. And it was always filled with like businessmen after work. And
Yeah.
these guys could drink so much
Yeah.
soju, like
Yeah.
all night long drinking. You walk in there and they're slurping noodles and pounding soju. And it's
Yeah.
like, these guys can like totally handle their liquor. I think it's, for most people, just like it's uncomfortable when
mean,
you feel like you're
Yeah.
hot and
The
warm and
drinking
flushed.
culture in Korea is just
Yeah,
it's extreme. Like they'll have a full day, 10-hour day of work. Immediately after, you know, they're going to a Korean barbecue, and then they start drinking.
Yep.
And then they go to
It's called
Club or-
icha. Yeah.
where they drink again, and then sometimes samcha.
Yeah.
And then they just
sacha.
until they
Yeah.
take a nap and then do it all over. Go work for another 10 hours. Like,
And
it's
they have it
extreme.
nailed down. Like they have, like I have medicine at home. It's like the stuff you, like my mom brought it back because she knows I drink a little bit, and it's like you'll get hammered all night till like 4 a.m. Go home, get a couple hours rest, and you're up the next day, and you take this pill, and you're like, cool, let's go, I'm ready. And then they're gonna do it all over again. So
Is that like the one like in the?
it's like a hangover pill thing.
Yeah, they like advertise like, oh, we can come and hook you up to an IV so you'll be good to go. Like one
Yeah,
of
you
those
know, I
situations.
mean, the IV thing is real now. So
Yeah. You're going to a party. Let's hook you up to this IV. Get you hydrated.
So you guys, 8 years at Next. How long have you been at the Aviary now?
7.5 years.
7?
A little over
Holy
7.5
Wow.
years. Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys are allowed to talk about this, but is there anything in the near future or the far future coming up for you guys? Oh, outside of
I plan on winning the lottery and buying an island.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually part of my plan too.
Yeah. What?
Okay.
What?
No, I think it's it's only honest that we talked about. We've always wanted to own our own business.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
man.
That's always been our goal since the beginning. And I think we're not at the end of our era there, but just yet. But we obviously are always thinking of our future.
Yeah.
And our future is to own a business together. And honestly, I can tell you it would be a restaurant, but it probably won't right away.
Yeah.
Just because, obviously with this whole pandemic and just the struggle,
Yeah.
I just need to fall back in love with the restaurant industry and creatively make it feel natural, not forced. Not that it feels forced at Next. It's just it's a job and you need to be able to create for the job. Where like I want to just cook my heart out if I ever open a restaurant.
Oh yeah.
I want it to come from a good place, and obviously we want to make money that too, but that's not going to be our main focus.
Yeah.
Plus, like I want to open a business that we support her.
Yeah.
Being such a great bartender, and obviously her own thing. We want to embrace that.
Right. Yeah.
So
I see a little like Spago thing going on. I was just watching Wolfgang. Telling Andy about it. I don't know if you guys saw it on Disney Plus.
yeah.
Oh, you should watch it. It's great. It's and you see like that team dynamic that Wolfgang had with his previous wife, and the whole success of that place was like built on the partnership, And I feel like, me and Andy are like I feel very blessed to have this guy, be my partner here at this restaurant. And when you get it right, it's you can do so many great things. And I think that just listening to you two talk today, and just I think that you guys have an amazing, bright future ahead of you guys. I'm excited to see it, and yeah, I just think it's amazing. So
I mean, hopefully it works out. I'm really hoping.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like
we
that?
can plan as much as we can,
Right.
And
it's
when you go into a business with family, it's always going to be a gamble.
No, it is.
But I think that we're both maturing and knowing that at some point someone's gonna have to sacrifice a little bit more than the other one, and we're okay with that.
Right.
Yeah, that's that's always what it is. It's just like when you feel like those moments where I think like, man, you're not right about this, or like I have something to say about it. I think those moments where you're like, you know what, let's just do it your way.
Yeah.
And see what
And I think that's the biggest part of maturing and adulting is being able to be like, okay, like you're right. Let's do this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's taking that step back and even if you still feel like you were right, but just making sure that both parties are in the same page. I think it's what makes things work.
Yeah, it's just going back. It's that leap of faith, man. It's like just buying that train ticket and taking that step of courage. So
yeah.
Well, this has been an absolute blast having you guys on, man. I thank you so much for joining us for our first podcast here. I hope you guys had a great time.
We loved it.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing what you guys do in the future, and we'll definitely try and find some time to stop by. And
Is there? Do we do the segment where?
yeah, do you guys want to plug anything in? Any shout outs? So I always usually end up pre-shift with shout outs. So if you guys want to shout anybody out,
Shout
please,
out.
Shout out to
please
my
go.
mama.
There you go.
I want to thank my parents. No, I mean, we talked about a few places, like local places, like, Kasama and some places we like to visit. You said West 32 Soju, which I have a girlfriend. Her name's Chio. She lives in Texas now.
Oh,
What's up,
yes.
Chio, if you're
We love
listening?
Chio. Yeah, she's definitely gonna watch this because
Yeah.
me and Chio go back too. So
She's always like, let's get West 32 on your menu. And I'm just like,
no.
no, absolutely not. I'm always trying to find like creative ways to like get on the menu, but it's sometimes a little bit harder because of the style of our bar and people are
Right.
looking for certain things. But like, Chio, if you're listening, I love you.
Shout out to Chio. Shout out to
Yes.
West 32 Soju.
Yeah.
Yeah, and aside from just obviously the restaurant industry, just support local businesses.
Yeah.
I go to this huge thing right now. It's called Trey Moment, which I got into fitness. I love.
nice.
It's one of my other things that I do now, other than collecting sneakers. I like to work out. And
Right.
Trey Moment is actually down this block all the way down. They're just community. They support everyone. Very diverse, strength and conditioning sort of workouts.
Is it a gym or?
I wouldn't say there's a gym, but it's sort of like It's like a berries, but with the Versa Climber.
Okay.
But it's more, honestly, aside from just the workout, it's just more about the community, and it's owned by a couple, mom and dad shop.
I love it.
And just, I'd love to support you guys, support some small businesses.
Yes.
That's what we should be doing these days.
Yeah, man. And where can people find you? Instagram? Do you guys have Twitter? What's your Instagram handles if you guys want to share it out with people? Or
No Twitter. Yeah, Instagram. You got one, right?
Yeah, she's very excited about that. Yeah, I have Instagram. It's pretty much ed.tinoco. You can find me. Shoot me a message. I always respond, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
Love that.
I have Facebook, but I haven't updated it in like 15 years, so
Nobody
don't even
uses
try.
Facebook anymore. It's okay.
Don't be a creep. Don't add me on Facebook. But Instagram, you can definitely shoot me a message.
Yeah, and Instagram is at Slayher, SLAYY_HER.
Yeah, Alexis is always posting some pretty cool shit. So I'm always like, what the fuck is this going to be? Like, because you're always like posting these cool ingredients
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff
What was
like
that?
that.
Strawberry milk?
Oh yeah, milk punch. It's
milk punch,
yeah. It's like it's a labor of love. We enjoy making our lives stressful, but it's
Right.
basically it's a beverage that's clarified using milk. So like the curdling of the milk with the citrus helps
Oh, wow.
clarify it, and so it's got watermelon and Earl Grey, and we do an aromatic component with it. It's a lot of fun.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some fancy shit.
fancy stuff,
I gotta
but
come by.
delicious.
That's on the menu at Aviary?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you all for joining us today. Hope you guys enjoyed our time here with Alexis Belton and Ed Tinoco. If you guys want to reach out to us, you can reach us through email at kimchikids@perillachicago.com or right through our Instagram at perillachicago. I'm Thomas,
I'm Andy.
and thanks for joining us. Peace.